And and we're in. Y'all not even gonna get like a intro video. Like we just going straight in there. We
Right.
we we right in here. Yeah. See what did I say, Risky? And I appreciate you coming straight
Yeah.
forward. Like first
100%.
things first, get it out the way. I appreciate that.
And since
Uh,
we in the business of getting things out the way, this is what I was gonna do on my video, but we decided to do this. 100% wrong about that whole March thing because I thought for sure, hey, you announced it January, you really could do everything for those 2 months and then drop it. But the fact that we're not getting a direct until April,
yeah.
hey, then that lets me know right then and there that May and June, which is another thing that Nate the Hate was talking about, was those potential release dates. So it
Mhm.
could be May or June at this point. So hey, dropping in the summer, which I would believe would be the first console to ever drop in the summer.
Yeah, since the Sega Saturn,
Huh.
I want to say is the only one that I know that is like dropped in the summer.
Gotcha.
And and that was like for everybody like lesson learned at that point.
Yeah, yeah,
Never drop anything in the summer. So I guess
yeah.
they're taking a look at that again.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you know what? It's popular. Why not? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, because I'm looking at this list now, and I mean, outside of the Saturn, you had like the Atari, but
Hmm.
that was some time ago. Um, but yeah, I mean, everything else has stuck to that whole November, December, September time frame. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, if they do May or June, I mean, it wouldn't be the first apparently, but it'd be the first in a long time.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm excited for it. I literally know nothing, so y'all can't be
Oh,
like,
you haven't seen
blah
anything?
blah blah blah. Nope, haven't seen anything.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. I
I've been watching so much about this device, man. So
Man,
yeah.
like I got to my first break, um and I was sitting back, and I was like, you know what? They ain't say nothing yesterday. Let me just go ahead and scroll through, see what
Mhm.
then I said, okay, let me get out. Let me get out. Let me get out. Let me get out. I put in my tweet. We going at 4:30, and I got up out of there real
Yeah.
quick.
Like I was on the way to drop the boys off at school. And literally I'm in car line and I'm telling my oldest, like, hey, Nintendo might say something today. That at least that's what the rumors are talking about. And, I do my typical watching, Spawn Waves news thing or whatever. And literally right after I drop the boys off, is a Nintendo has an update. I'm like, hold on, let me check to see if that's real. And I saw the Nintendo of America, and I was like, they didn't even say like switch to announcement, it just says they have an update. And I'm like, wow, okay. This is really hey, everything anyway, take it. Like just just get out
Man,
my face.
it's wild too because like I think was it yesterday? Oh, I
Hmm.
don't know. Yeah, it was yesterday. I don't know how many times yesterday while I was on. So I dropped in to say what's up on Nintendo Prime's podcast, and they were all like, ooh, like up and down about it. And then,
Yeah. Hmm.
Prime was like, yeah, it's definitely happening. Everybody's cycling, that is definitely happening. Um and then uh and then I got on OJ's just to say what's up, and then I was reading his stuff as well. And like somebody, like every few seconds, somebody's like, uh, Switches just got revealed. Switches just got revealed. Switches just like, yo, okay, like the
Yep.
first time you got me, but like after a while, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, that's enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No more, that's enough. So
Yeah.
yeah, just leading up to this point, is crazy that like now we've gotten the update.
Hmm.
I know I haven't said it too before we jump into it. I know I haven't said it here on the Stormcast, but on the Jill podcast, actually, they've been like really like you know, Juice is all about his like, let's make a bet. Like, when is this reveal
Hmm.
happening? So, I told him logically, like I was hoping it was in December. It didn't happen in December. So I was like, so the only other time I was thinking was going to be in January They said it couldn't be in the first week because that makes no sense. The second week, I can't remember what I said about the second week, but I'm like, the third week, I said it's probably most likely going to happen in the third week. And he was like, well, give a date. And I'm like, well, what's that Thursday? And he's like, it's the 16th. He's like, but Donkey Kong comes out on the 16th too. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if they really care about it like that.
Yeah,
right?
it ain't that deep.
Yeah. I'm like, let's just go ahead and go with the 16th. So they all predicted much later. I think the next person was like the 24th, and then T was in February or something like that. So
yeah,
I'm gonna have to get on the podcast and be like, I was right.
I saw his comment to you.
Yeah, too. They usually yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I said too, because T was getting on me about having a prediction in October. I'm like, come on, T, even a blind nut can find a squirrel. Like, so that's that piece. So
okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get into it. The moment y'all been waiting for. This is authentic. Jack has seen it. I'm assuming you've seen it, so I have not. So y'all gonna get the most authentic live reaction from me because I have no reaction. Now
my segment's still here.
I will say this first because I've already got a reaction before we even start the trailer. Yes, they actually named it Switch 2, which is wild.
I didn't even realize they updated the title though, because this is Nintendo Switch 2's first look. Because like I said this morning, it was just Nintendo has an update, and that's all it said. And I was like, that's a very random basic title. But yeah, it was just
here y'all go. Just here's some money. Here, take that.
Nintendo has an update, and I was like, okay, that's very whatever. Here, take it.
Well, okay. So yeah, here we go. This all right. Let me make sure my sounds is right. Can you turn me up in the headphones? Am I good to go? Okay.
Right. J Biggs, I'm right there with you. I don't watch this so many times. I don't watch it on other people's channels so many times. This is crazy.
I'll be there in a minute. Yeah. Just wait for me. Okay. Okay. Okay, I like it. Yay. So that's where the colors are coming from. Okay. Okay. Sorry, Samo, you get no snare this time around. Color coded, okay. Oh, it's a different snap.
Yeah. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's a clap." I was like, "It sounds like a slap to me."
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah. Yep.
Take
it is. It is. I like it.
It looks sleek, man.
Yeah. Oh, so they are gonna show some footage.
Thousand Star, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, Thousand Star? Appreciate you coming through. Okay. 2025. That's all you getting. I like how they put this at the end. We're gonna pause this for a second. Plays Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games as well as Nintendo Switch games. Nintendo Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Switch games. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Switch 2, which
we know what it is.
Yeah. Details will be shared on the Nintendo website at a later date. Interesting. Games and systems sold separately. So they basically gave you the Switch stuff to show off on the Switch 2. Okay. 4 to 25. Dang, that's so far away.
Yeah.
It's like we got stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't get anything.
But after this, I'll bring up something that's been pretty cool that I've been seeing, and OJ actually hinted at this as well, and I've been seeing it a lot. So we can go ahead and forward with this. But this part right here pissed me off.
This is another one of the events.
This pissed me off.
The Chicago event.
They picked 3 locations, sir.
What did they pick?
It was New York. I think it was what, Texas or the Dallas area, and I think somewhere out in LA. And I was like, are y'all afraid of Florida? Like, y'all could have had Orlando, Tampa. So now you got people's like, dang, do I take that drive?
not even. Well, New York, obviously.
Yeah. Cali, obviously.
Yeah.
And then they did Dallas. Now there are a lot more dates, but it was like Tokyo and everything else like that. But when I saw the locations for the US, I'm like, for real? Like,
that's killing me. That's killing me, man.
Yeah.
Why not Chicago?
I don't know.
Chicago. They had Chicago last time, so was like that was the spot, you know.
Yeah, because I went to the site. I was like, please give me something, Florida. Give me something, Florida, and it was like, nope. Because you have the ability tomorrow to actually register, to actually get hands on with it.
Listen, J Biggs. Your state got represented, all right? Michigan never gets represented for nothing. Nothing at all. No, not even Detroit, not even the lone city that people know in Michigan. No love. So that's why I was like Chicago. At least that will, get the Indiana people, the Ohio people, Illinois, Michigan.
So to give you locations and dates for North America is New York, April 4th to the 6th. Los Angeles is April 11th to the 13th. Dallas is April 25th to the 27th, as well as Toronto, April 25th to the 27th.
Listen, 1,000 Star, respectfully, I'm gonna say this with all respect. The Fires will have a layoff for the Switch 2, and they will actually do the event then.
Yeah,
and then they will resume Fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because I mean, literally, they're gonna find a way.
Yeah,
like it especially we're talking about April, so God willing, like everything is where it need to be by April.
It should not last that long.
Yeah. So, but yeah, those sold dates, those are out kind of far. But like we've all mentioned before, I mean, the whole tour thing was still happening as the Switch was getting ready to come out. So I mean, June is the final date. It looks like, so June 1st in Seoul. In Hong Kong and Taipei haven't been announced yet. So
yeah, man, this is crazy.
Yep,
it's so wild to me that we got what we got. There was like, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. You know what and they like, you know what your problem is? You know what your problem is? You be asking for too much. And so now I give you something and then you won't know.
But this is my thing, and this is I tried to do the tweet, but it just wouldn't post. But my thing was, for the people that were genuinely like, man, this is a bummer, this is it. I was like, you willingly went and looked for rumors. You chose to spoil yourself, and then when they gave you exactly what the rumors were, it's like, man, those rumors were right. Okay, what were you expecting? Like, I don't know. They were showing you actual, like the handheld dude. He was showing you like actual devices.
The whole device, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, so what were you expecting?
Him to be all the way wrong, I guess.
That would have been wild, but
and they didn't even show you the button. You know what I'm saying? Like, they gave you the button, but they didn't show you what the button had. And they said it had a C on it, but I don't see a C on the button.
So that's what we've been hearing. Like, well, for those of us who've been watching this video, like that's what we've been hearing, that these may just be renders. And honestly, when we look at what they showcase, it's a lot of things that may be missing. Because even though, like, right here, like, you see the Joy-Con slide.
Yeah, doing the mouse thing.
Right, but they're not going to say anything about that optical sensor there. So when I went back and watched the very first trailer, initially, yes, we saw more games, but in reality, they didn't show any functionality because we didn't know anything
Oh,
about HD Rumble in that
mm-mm,
first trailer.
mm-mm.
So I had to go back because my video, I was like, oh, we might see the C button or this, that, and the third. But in reality, they didn't tell you how it really functioned. They just said, hey, you can do tabletop, you can do handheld, and you can do docked. And then
Yeah,
they show people playing it in different locations. But in reality, that messaging is already out the way.
yeah,
So now it's like, all right, cool. This is what it looked like. Y'all already knew that. It disconnects from magnets opposed to a slide rail. It's bigger. So we'll show you the rest in April.
right.
But to kind of go back to what I was mentioning earlier, and something that OJ said that I forgot Jason Schreier said, along with what I'm seeing on my actual timeline,
Yeah,
third party developers right now that's like, hey, blah blah blah, hashtag Switch 2. Congratulations, Nintendo, but our game will be there on Switch 2. So
that's good.
it's giving that window for third parties to finally say something.
Yeah,
I think that's
now they can throw out what they need to throw out.
exactly because Jason Schreier was saying the same thing. He was like, this was more or less of a way to give the third parties the window to finally start announcing what it is
Good.
we have coming.
So then, so I guess the bigger deal is since everybody's clamoring and asking about Switch games, is that's what we're getting.
Yeah.
There's a third parties coming out and being like, this is this and this is what we're getting. Let me go back and read some of the stuff in the chat because
Okay.
then y'all firing off. Y'all firing off today. 8Ball said, "Hey everyone, what up, 8Ball? Seen this trailer, the history morning. Thanks to Game Idea Guy and Blast Sky. Short to the point and looks interesting with the slight improvements to
Right.
switch to. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Let me see. Soul's date is all the way to June 1st, so Switch 2 is probably not going to be released no earlier than June.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what we were kind of figuring behind the scenes. Jack said that is like, well, I guess March, April.
It ain't happening.
April is kind of out of the way, so yeah, which is unfortunate because I don't like to hold on my money too long. So they better bring out them
Right.
the pre-order dates very soon.
I'm pretty sure we'll get them in April, and then at that point in time, my Switch and my Xbox are gone in
Mhm,
April.
mhm.
I don't mind just playing VR and all that stuff until then, so I'm cool.
Yeah. Andre said, I'm ticked off. I thought there would at least be a showing in DC, but nope. Yep. Nope. And we didn't get Chicago either, man.
At least y'all got love last time. I got nothing.
Exodia said, don't get started on Detroit. Listen. The only city in my state that people even know like that. Like, that's wild to me.
Oh, yeah.
And not even Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Lions are doing good this year. We can't even get a dang Switch 2 in the same city. That's like fair. I get it because if they win, then the whole city gonna go crazy. And you don't want that. But I'm just saying, like that only makes sense to me. But it is what it is, I guess. Able to no, digging and improvements, being back. Yeah, he said that. What did Andre say? I don't think assuming the touring date means that the Switch 2 won't release while they're
That's true too. Yeah. I mean, you can still tour while the console's out there.
You got a good point. What up, Jay? Appreciate you coming through, man. Yeah, we're in the 10th gen. I literally just had to tell somebody this. I don't know if y'all seen the tweet, but it's so crazy to me that my man's, we was going back and forth and he was telling me, he was talking about why is I can't even remember the beginning of the conversation, but basically he was trying to like refute the Switch for all of its accolades and why Nintendo was that important or something like that. And I'm like, they have the biggest mind share right now.
Yes.
Out of any company. Like that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And I said, like operating profit wise, they have the highest operating profit. And he's like, well, that's because Sony has all these other blah blah blah. I said that don't matter. The fact is, what I just said is not fiction, just based off of what you said. Like it's still a fact. And he said something like, "Oh well, Nintendo's the last one to next gen." I was like, hold on. Stop it.
Cut it out. Quit.
Yeah, you hurting yourself. Get some help. Get some help. Like you said current gen, but Nintendo is now on 10th generation. Or
Right.
you said next gen, but Nintendo is now on 10th generation. That would
Yeah.
make this the first next generation. And what you're talking about, if you're talking about PS5 and Xbox One, those are current generation systems. I don't know. I
Right.
don't know why you're still using the term next gen 7 years later.
Right.
Like that, what are we talking about here? Does that make PS4 and Xbox One current gen systems? If you talk about PS5 being next gen, like I don't. Is there no such thing as current gen and we just got last gen and next gen? Like that don't.
Yeah, people don't know. They really don't. My thing is this: the generation itself has nothing to do with the specs. It's all
No,
about the console itself and when it was released. So
right.
this is their 10th generation console. I don't care if it looked like the Game Boy and played Game Boy games. It's their 10th generation console. Jesus, like the communication in the gamer space is just so skewed sometimes.
It's
Like you
silly,
just don't
man.
know where like determining what game's a AAA game and what's next generation and what's pushing the genre forward. And
Right.
in reality, like I said, Nintendo has done it now.
This is
And
what's pushing it forward right there.
yeah, because honestly, the 4K and all the ray tracing stuff has done nothing for the games that most people claim they like. It's done
Hmm.
nothing for them games.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
even they're risky. Like that's the thing. That's the one thing I don't like about the GTA 6 thing. Like
Hmm.
they put such a high bar on it because of what we saw. We don't know if any of that was gameplay.
Right.
That could have solely just been trailers.
Yeah.
And
PC generated stuff.
because we saw the same thing with Grand Theft Auto 5, and then it
Hmm.
looked drastically different when it came to 360 and PS3.
Facts.
So what you've only seen GTA 6 one time, and you're like, this is gonna be this graphical masterpiece that's gonna look exactly like. No, how many times have we seen games showcase first time out the gate, and it looks nothing like it did when it released?
Hmm.
Watch
Yep.
Dogs, first example that come to mind. Like, come on now, we gotta do better than that because now it's like, oh, PS5 Pro is the only thing that's gonna be able to run it. You think Rockstar is that stupid to
Mm.
make a game that only runs on one console?
Right. So and the PS5 Pro at that.
At that, yeah, like that's y'all wow.
Yeah. I know. I don't know. Y'all be like, oh, it's only PS5 Pro and PS6. Really? Like you
Yeah,
really don't like even not even the PlayStation 5, huh? Y'all just really believe. Yeah, okay,
yeah,
believe what you want to believe, I guess.
yeah. My thing is this: like, even on the gaming front, this is where we have what almost like a 2.5 month window
Mm-hmm.
to allow all third parties to come out the gate and say
Mm-hmm.
who gonna be there.
Who
Because I
gonna
mean,
fire off? And y'all gonna be mad when you get some
right.
of these names.
And then even Nate has told y'all two of which are coming this year, and that is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Remake.
Mm.
Are those not graphically impressive enough for you to see?
Is this not what you want?
I mean,
Uh, let me see
that
here.
is a complete lie. Risky, I'm gonna need you to stop that because I'm gonna need you to look at Horizon again, brother, along with
Uh,
Ghost of Tsushima.
what do you say about
Tells all
Horizon?
PS games look exactly like the teasers. No, they don't either. Need you
No,
to
they
stop
don't.
that.
Oh, definitely not Ghost. Ghost didn't look
No,
no.
Ghost didn't look. No, stop.
Dark Void said, do y'all think at the Microsoft presentation next week? I'm
Yeah.
assuming you mean Switch. Do you think they will announce some games there?
Yeah,
Yes.
I
Yes.
think this was strategically placed solely for them to do that because I mean
Hmm.
now we already know what we're going to see minus like some mystery game that's supposed to
Hmm.
pop up.
Hmm.
So I mean I would imagine so because now like I said now they have the green light to really just kind of put that logo up there now
Hmm.
because I think last generation with the Switch everybody was using that NX because they had the ability to put NX but
Yep.
then slowly went and started changing that up when the Switch actually got revealed.
Yeah, that's wild that they with the mouse thing, and that's what we kind of
Yeah.
been hearing about. There's another thing. So there's something else, and I was trying to bring it like this scene with the last scene is actually kind of crazy because there's actually a lot more on here. Oh, and you could tell definitely with this scene right here with this little nub right here.
Yeah.
But if you look at, let's see if I can bring it back to where we were just a minute ago with the controller.
What part you looking for?
So this part right here.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the S and the L buttons, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got this middle button right here. That's to connect the
Probably pair.
Joy-Con.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So then you got these two outside ones right here.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting is when you go into the next scene to show how it lines up with the Switch,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a space on these two parts that line up to say that's part of, like, the connection. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So these must do something else. And I'm thinking that's going along with the the mouse idea that
Okay.
everybody was thinking of. And even this little slot right here, maybe
Yeah.
that's where the laser is.
That's what a lot of people were pointing out. That's where the laser is.
So yeah, it's interesting that, yeah, like it's on here too. Those two pieces as well. And they kind of like flipped this really fast so you couldn't
Oh yeah.
really see the laser, the lens for it. Yeah, that's
Because
not
it
that.
gets covered up right there with
Mm-hmm.
the Joy-Con strap.
Mm-hmm.
Which also too, what do you think they're calling these?
The Joy-Cons?
Yeah.
Joy-Con 2s.
Joy-Con 2s? Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna be anything like super crazy. I think it's just gonna be Joy-Con 2s.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I can imagine that. But yeah, I mean, looking at this device, it only took my level of imagination of where we were going to go. Because like I said,
Mm-hmm.
granted, we didn't get to see like the little C function, which like I said, it kind of matches up with the first trailer with the first Switch. To
Mm-hmm.
where we're talking about like, okay, yeah, they showed you how it was functioning, but you didn't hear anything about HD Rumble at all.
Mm-mm.
Or even that IR sensor at the bottom of the right Joy-Con.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that will more or less happen in April, along with seeing games, along with getting the price and the release date in April. But
I'm,
ultimately, I mean, that mouse function would be pretty dope, though, if true.
yeah. I'm curious. Do you think they dropped the NFC reader?
Um, ooh, because that was in the stick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't see a reason to, because if that is the case, then that kind of speaks to functionality that's taken away from the Switch, and I don't see a reason why
Mm-hmm.
you would do that. Because I mean, there are a lot of games that do use the amiibos, especially when you talk about Smash.
Yeah,
And I
that's
would
true.
imagine you're not going to see Smash anytime soon. So,
Yeah.
and with it being backwards compatible, I give people an opportunity to use everything you just charged them for. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that'd be pretty interesting. But we've heard nothing about it though. Like that's one thing we haven't heard about is NFC at all.
TG said ball bearings for those two pieces that I was talking about.
Hmm.
I don't know, man. Like, even looking back, I'll bring it back up again. Let me take the overlay down real quick. But if you look distinctively, there is
Yeah, there's nothing there that
no,
would
and
need it.
this up here is the plus because on the other side it says minus.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it might be because honestly, it's not going to be there just for design purposes. It's got to be
No,
something
it has to be something.
interesting, huh? Okay. Yeah, I mean, the one other thing that that I've seen is like you saw the little piece on the inside, so it can actually do the magnet connection.
Yeah.
I was like, user error to the max.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Goodness gracious.
I'm they gonna have what it what's his name? Rick Ross said they're gonna have to fix. You gonna have to fix that. You're gonna have to fix that.
Because I mean, it's like in the recess, so that's
Yeah.
cool. But like I said, I foresee people just being reckless because
Mm-hmm.
let's be honest, there's some people that just really don't take care of their devices.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious.
Like, what happens if you try and smash the other controller into there? You
You'd
know what
be
I'm
pretty
saying?
stupid.
The left. I mean, listen, I'm just thinking of like younger kids. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
a younger kid trying to put it in upside down, like
Mhm.
thinking it's one way when it's the
Sheesh.
other. Does it like repel the other if it's actually magnetic? Does it repel it
Oh, I
from?
mean, because yeah, I mean, you think about plus and minus, so maybe it does repel it.
Yeah.
That yeah, that might be. Then also too, I mean, what TG is saying, yeah, I mean, this may just be an early concept
Hmm.
render of the device, so it might look somewhat different. Because one thing that I thought of too, granted, yeah, this is the color scheme that they're going with, but I
Yeah.
would imagine if you come out with something later with the different Joy-Con 2s, I
Hmm.
mean, that inside color, I mean, it's not gonna bother too many people, but some people are gonna be like, oh, I wish it would match, and
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
I mean, for them to have that color in there as if those are the only ones they'll ever release is interesting.
Right. And I think so. So maybe realistically, it is like you said, like the render just kind of showing like this goes here and this goes here. I do think regardless of what the color is inside that strip, I think you still gonna get the plus and minus on
Of
there.
course, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe for all intents and purposes, they take that color out. I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
know. Yeah, because that's a good point. Like, how do you realistically do that?
Because I mean, it looks good aesthetically, but
Yeah.
when if I got, let's say I got a green one
Mm-hmm.
and a red one or whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
is like now if you're using that as a um like a means of educating people on on which Joy-Con to connect, you kind of
Mm-hmm.
kill it right there.
Yeah.
So,
Because they're
but yeah,
like, oh, it's easy as being like, oh, you just match up the
the colors.
oranges, yeah,
Hmm.
with
Even
each
if you
other
don't see
and
that
everything.
plus minus, you at least go match the colors up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, this like TG said, maybe it's just an early render, especially
Mm-hmm.
considering the fact we don't see the C, and
Mm-hmm.
we've obviously seen that C on the Joy Cons that the rumors have had.
That they showed off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
and like they said that we've got the USB slot on the top as well as the
hmm
bottom. Um, I to be honest with you, and I've been giving this a lot of thought. And so I got two things. I
okay.
actually got two things. So I got two things. Ooh, I got two
See,
things.
this is what's supposed
Ooh
to happen. You're supposed
wee.
to be excited and come up with new ideas.
Ooh
All
wee.
these other
So
videos like, oh my gosh, it's the same thing. Like, show some creativity, man. Like,
so 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 listen. Everybody's saying a camera, right?
right?
And this is actually where I think that button may come in. Ah, woo! It's good. It is good. This is so good. So so a lot of people have been saying maybe that's a camera button
Right.
or for the C and all that other stuff. I'm thinking what you're gonna get packed in with the Switch. Obviously, you're gonna get the Switch itself. You're gonna get the Joy Cons. You're gonna get the dock. You're
Yeah.
gonna get
A little dog face grip.
yep, the dog face grip. You're gonna get the AC button or the AC cord. I don't know if you'll necessarily get a HDMI cord. You may. You will
They
possibly
better.
get get an HDMI cord.
They better.
But
Don't pull.
I also think here's where it gets wild. Ready?
Mhm.
I also think you're going to get a USB-C to USB-C cord.
Okay.
Keep up with me because it's about to get crazy. So I think that when the system is docked,
Mhm.
you can put the USB-C cord top to this switch and connect it to the bottom of the original switch and use it as the second controller like the Wii U. And that button down there is actually a pairing button to pair it with that switch. So then when you play Xenoblade Chronicles X or any other game that they allow having a second screen to,
Right.
you could play it just that way with the second
And
control
see,
or the second
that's
switch.
what I've been talking about wanting, like that being like a pairing button for the original Switch Lite or OLED for
Mm-hmm.
you to do something like that, or whatever the case may be. Because I whenever the rumors came out of it being like the community chat thing, I'm like, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk to people. I'm cool.
Nah, and especially because you'll hit that button. I still hit the home button like oh my
Yeah, I
bad.
do that by accident all the time because I get my buttons mixed up. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I'm with you. Like I rather it be that function
Mm-hmm.
opposed to a chat thing. But at the same time, who's to say that there isn't a UI functionality that would
Yeah.
do the same thing opposed to you just pressing the button?
Yeah.
It might be a situation of like simply pairing like a Bluetooth situation to where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, all right, cool, go here, select this option, and then it'll find your Switch, whatever version you have, and then bam, you're good to go.
Because
I think that's possible.
I was thinking because normally if you think about it, this doing it this way, like yeah, you can do it the Bluetooth way, but then you're
Hmm.
risking, lag
Yeah.
depending on what game
Hmm.
you're playing. But if you have a connection, yeah, yeah, the C for connection.
Yeah,
Um,
we've always said it. Yeah.
so even if you weren't playing on the screen, you can still use the switch to top screen as your TV screen, if you will. Plug in the USB, wrap it around the bottom or the side, what have you, and then
Hmm.
use your actual second switch as the second screen.
Yeah.
And still use the controllers because the control scheme is identical besides the connect button.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it writes itself. It's just Nintendo got to do it.
Yeah.
That's the key thing right there. But yeah. I mean, outside of that, man, I mean, outside of that C button and the whole mouse functionality, is there anything else you want or foresee being on the UI side or the function side of it? Like you think
Uh
we're getting like a HD Rumble 2.0?
I do.
Okay.
I honestly I do. I think if it's not 2 point, I think you're getting another set of the Rumble, but but then again, I only see Nintendo bringing back old stuff like that,
Hmm.
like old technology, if they didn't sell a lot. Like thinking
True.
of like
True.
GameCube to Wii, and I mean Wii U sold a lot, but they still had a lot on hand, right?
Right.
With the Wii, so moving that into the Wii U. So like if they still had like a whole bunch of that on hand to throw inside this controller, then
Hmm.
yes. However, they didn't go with the same people they went with last time, right? With making the actual controller itself because they were worried about the
That
whole
I
stick drift. I don't
yeah.
know if that I like we don't know the details on that, but I imagine that they're not going with the exact same. And if they're not going with the exact same, then I think that they may go with a 2.0 at that point,
Right.
um, and come with something newer.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because honestly, I mean, if you think about the dual sense, like it's pretty much like HD Rumble 2.0,
Mm-hmm.
minus the triggers, which triggers are its own separate functionality.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, they can take HD Rumble to the next level, continue
Mm-hmm.
to improve on it. Like I said, with the mouse functionality, I mean, having haptic feedback in a mouse
Yeah.
be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
My thing is more or less of if I choose to put that wrist strap on or not, whatever surface I'm using it on, like how easy or how smooth is it to move across like certain surfaces. So if I
Oh
choose to
yeah.
go across my pant leg versus going across like a marble top counter, like
Right,
is
right,
it scratching anything up when I'm doing when I'm doing any of this? Like that's what I'm
right.
curious about too.
Good point. And maybe that's also what those buttons are for, or the those little circled out pieces
Yeah,
is for ease of like rolling.
yeah,
Maybe they're rollers in themselves, but even those things can get clogged up,
yeah. Hmm.
over time. So I guess that is something really to think about. But I do think it's dope that they are trying to make those mouse pieces because that changes a whole lot of dynamic of a lot of things. You're
Hmm.
looking at not having to worry like Sims coming out and not having to worry about making a controller function for that. You can
There
still
you
do it
go.
as mouse.
Yeah, because I can
Um,
imagine that being a headache of trying to find proper key bindings
mhm.
for a device that used keyboard and mouse.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, granted, while yes, you can connect the keyboard and mouse to like the current Switch because it has the ability to,
Mhm.
you having just a regular Joy-Con
It's
and
already there
it's
for you.
already there. So it's less of a headache because one of the key things that I think a lot of people missed on the Wii was the simplicity.
Mhm.
You look at the casual gamer and it's at like for me and you, if I told you, okay, B does this, A does this, X does that, Y, and then you got to do this, counter circle and,
Right.
half circle to do this, you'd be like, all right, cool, appreciate it. To the casual, like, what the hell are you talking about? Like,
Right.
what I'm
Hold
saying?
LZR and press X to get into and you'd be like, what?
Yeah,
You got to do that 50 million times in order to get it
yeah.
even halfway
So,
right.
so you get to the point of, all right, we have the Sims. Your left Joy-Con, you can use the stick to move around, but then of course you still use the right one as the mouse to where the R, the bumper is the left click, the
Mhm.
ZR is the right click,
The
and
right click.
yeah,
Yep.
and then I mean you still got buttons on that one too, so you can press
Mhm.
buttons on the side of that too if you wanted to. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, then this just screams accessories. So
And even realistically, if you use the control stick as the wheel to use wheel functions, like you said.
yeah, you're good. You're good 100%. One thing I did want to mention though, which I found pretty interesting because there has been like maybe one or two channels that
Mhm.
have watched this, but their main focus has been breaking down that very small portion of Mario Kart that we saw.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people like, oh, why would they show us Mario Kart 8? And like, if you've played Mario Kart 8, you know that wasn't Mario Kart 8 because we've never seen that track before.
Nah,
Like,
I was just about to say
it's
that.
crazy
Like that track don't look familiar to me
at
unless it
all,
was in DLC, and
and it
I don't
wasn't.
ever remember hearing DLC with that track. So,
No. But the one key thing that a lot of people pointed out was there are slots for up to 24 racers. And then the
mm,
particular level they showed off was huge. Like that road was super
mhm,
wide, along with like the new boost pad that was there too.
mhm.
But then also pointing out the fact that, the Donkey Kong design is from the movie, from the Mario movie.
Is
So
it?
yeah,
We gotta go through.
so
We gotta get over there.
because I
Let's
can
bring that on.
let me I'm gonna tag you in too.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
Hold on. Slow it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 12, 8. Yeah, that's 24 slots.
yeah. So the fact that you can have that many, that means you got to make the areas bigger. Now,
Yeah.
one key thing that pointed out to me, and I heard a lot of, well, why didn't you tell us about DLSS? Why didn't you tell us about upscaling? Because they were not going to tell you about this. But
No.
ultimately, if you just look at Mario Kart and what you know Mario Kart to be, the detail in this freaking level is
Mhm.
ridiculous. Not to mention how many characters would potentially be on screen because I don't think the full 24 was on screen here. But one of the key things that I saw and that a lot of people pointed out was just the attention to detail with certain key things that we saw. So there was a portion towards the end to where Mario went over like this little bump, and when he went up over the bump, his face stretched out, but when he hit the ground, it like went fat, so it kind of like bounced a little bit.
Mm.
So for them to pay attention to little small, minute details like that shows what the processing power could possibly be.
Ah.
You know what I'm saying? And then also seeing all that fur on DK, because I just actually tagged you in the post from Andre because he has a
Okay.
good picture on Twitter of the difference between the two, and and even with good vibe game with gaming vibe,
Wow.
they were
Yeah,
talking about
let's
like
bring this up.
Rosalina was on a freaking snowmobile. Like we don't like
Mhm.
she's on a snowmobile, so that was pretty dope. So they got different vehicles on top of that too.
Wow. Yeah,
With
look at
them showing
that.
this right here, Andre, even though I didn't believe it because there were some rumors about it, it might be a launch title.
Yeah.
Especially if it's June, it might be a launch title.
Interesting.
So
Huh.
yeah, that's pretty dope. So the attention to detail is doable if you have the horsepower they're talking about. Because
Yeah.
Mario Kart, you don't have to make it realistic. You can put all your power and your assets into the details of the carts, the levels, and the character, because it's a certain art style. And not to
That's
mention getting
I'm like
stuff
trying to
like
go
the
back because it
Luigi
looks like
stare.
somebody was on a ski-doo.
Yeah,
Like what? Wait a minute. Hold on.
telling you, it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, that was Daisy. It looked like she was
Yeah,
on like some sort of ski-doo. Yeah, this is a different game.
yeah. So I mean, I really hate the fact that this may go through the whole Splatoon thing because remember the same thing happened with Splatoon. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's just Splatoon 1 remake. It was Splatoon 2. Like if you didn't play the game, that's fine, but stop saying that it's the same game if you didn't play it.
That's
But yeah,
crazy. And it's way back there. You can see that's part of the area back there.
I'm
We have
telling you.
never seen that car.
Nah, it looks like there's like pieces to it though. Like you can just
Oh, I see. I see
yeah,
that right there.
yeah. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
detail to these characters. And
They said that's enough. That's all you get.
because my thing is like the Luigi stare got sent all over. It was on news channels, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Mm-hmm.
just a simple fact that when you pass a character, the character looks.
Right.
And so I mean, I can only imagine what type of like level of detail they put here. But one thing I came to my mind, and I can be completely wrong, so this is just me speculating.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we're seeing here, and we'll see more for sure later down the line, that this will eventually be like a different mode to where, yeah, you can have upwards to like 24 people, but there's not going to be any items. It's got to be like pure skill. And I don't think it's going to be lap
Uh,
based because if you see like at towards the end of the trailer where they show it again
mm-hmm.
and they zoom out, like that level looks crazy long. Like it doesn't even look like it's one of those short, like, oh,
Yeah.
let's do 3 laps. It looks stupid long.
Yeah, that's really wide. That's really, really wide.
Yeah. So
Um,
I don't know where they're going with this, but if apparently like this got to be
the
like
Doc has
the next
feet,
game.
by the way.
Yeah.
Doc got feet now?
Yeah. Yeah, the way the cards are looking, you might be able to customize. That's what I was saying too, Andre. Like you might be able to piece this together. You might midnight club this thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let me let me put this up front because they were showing also too, and I don't know how you know much of a big thing it is, or if it's even a big thing. There was a lot of bumping with the
Yeah.
character. So if I have like something on the front of my cart or on the side of my cart to kind of add more weight to my cart, so you can't just up and
Mhm.
bump me off to the side that much, or to kind of lighten my load so that way I'm faster. Maybe they get into that bag. I don't know.
This real talk, this is a different cart all because
It is.
Mario always rides in the generic cart whenever they
Mhm.
show off a Mario Kart.
That's
This
a
is a
different one.
completely different cart. Yeah, that's Mario Kart. I don't know what we calling it yet. Not maybe not 9, maybe 10.
I don't even think they continue with the number thing on this one. I think they go something different because I mean, if you call it 10, it makes sense because of tour.
Yeah,
But if you call it 9, that makes sense too because you don't count tour. I don't
right,
know.
right. My bad, guys. Hold on. Let me go back real quick so we can answer some of these questions. Berea said, "Do you think that in the new console we will have the opportunity to use Bluetooth headphones because they added it to the Switch,
Oh,
but it did not work well with many headphones due
that's
to
a good
bad latency?"
question. I mean, I've never tried to use Bluetooth with my ROG Ally, but I have tried to use it with both my Switch and like my Quest.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's no. It's not something you should do. But it's definitely but I
Yeah.
mean it's functional, but I mean it did like you said, it didn't work all that well. So I mean I would imagine they thought about that.
Hmm.
Especially if this is a community button as
Yeah.
is being alluded, you would need a way of talking because they were saying video chat and also like game chat. So
And
I
it's
don't know.
I mean, because you do still have the option to put the headphone jack in and
Yeah,
do it that way.
so it's still there. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, man, Bluetooth is a funny thing because I mean
Mhm.
it's like you would think for most devices it will function properly, but even like I said, even doing something like the Quest 2 or Quest 3, the moment you pair Bluetooth headphones, every game you're playing is going to lag
Right.
strictly off of Bluetooth. So
Yeah,
it's
I don't.
it's a weird thing. So I don't know, especially now that we have what it's like what is it called, the LE
Mhm.
Bluetooth, so like the
Mhm.
low efficiency Bluetooth. So I don't know. For me on Switch, yeah. Well, hey, hats off to UG Picks because
Mm-mm.
mine be acting funky sometimes, but I don't know.
What up, Legend of Josh? Appreciate you coming through, bro. It's been a little while. Glad you came through. He said I think Donkey Kong is from the more classic look. Yeah, that's where they're
Yeah.
saying. It does look like the classic Donkey Kong, but the classic Donkey Kong also looks like the movie Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it
as
was
well.
based off of because the movie one was based off of the classic one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one and the same. So I mean, everybody's right in that scenario. So,
but Andre says that's not movie Donkey Kong, but it looks similar, almost like he did as Donkey Kong.
DK Jr.
Okay, yeah. What if that'd be crazy if it was DK Jr. and not actually?
When was the last time we had DK Jr. or anything?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who was in Donkey Kong Country 3?
That was what was the name of that big thing? Hold on. DKZ3.
I know he was a baby, but I don't remember.
Yeah, Kiddy Kong. Yeah.
Kiddy Kong. Okay.
Yeah, so it was Kitty and Dixie. Because I mean you got what? Kitty Kong and DK Jr., you got Dixie and Trixie.
Right.
It's a lot of them out there.
And Tiny, who's like
yeah, Tiny. Lanky, Swanky, Cranky. Yeah, I'm telling you, they got all of them.
Risky said, "My God, the graphics are outdated."
Okay.
How? Let me ask this though: how are the graphics outdated when you haven't seen them yet?
My point exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like that make sense to me. Like that don't like that's like seeing if they come out with Octopath Traveler 3 and be like, these graphics is outdated.
Yeah.
How? That's you ain't never seen them graphics before.
I say who's making a game that looks like Mario Kart that outdoes Mario Kart,
right?
Graphically,
right. And it looks like you getting a little blur effect up here.
Yeah,
like stop it.
Because I mean, now we got something that's coming up that we haven't seen much of, and that's the Sonic racing game, Cross Worlds. But we haven't seen anything on that. And I mean, if anything, like most people are saying, dang, Nintendo didn't have to show this because now Sega got to get that game out there.
Yeah,
get the wheels started.
Yeah, there's gonna be trouble now. Yeah, but like, dang, we're gonna need Sonic Racing Frontiers or something. Like, we're gonna have to go hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you spoke on that. I'm not talking to you, Risky. He's after month overhyping generational link between the Switch and 2, and they look the same. They don't. I can see it. You must not have a Switch. I get it. That's what the problem is. You ain't got a Switch. So that's what that is. I forgot. You love Nintendo so much you ain't even got a Switch. Mario Kart looks great for what I expect it to look like. Yeah.
Yeah, even with that little piece, you can if you have an imagination, you can really start playing that guessing game. Because even one key thing that got pointed out too, that made it different from Mario Kart 8, we don't have those wheels for you to hover. Like you would have seen it by now.
Yeah, that would have been straight up. So I'm wondering, like, even kind of going back. Let me go back in this little piece. That little area back there, that would have normally been. It looks like a section that would have required you to have that, but the way that it's tilted, that ain't happening. As a matter of fact, this whole unless you use this, but that looks like a prop.
Yeah, that's just a prop, just to kind of give the level some flair.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're doing that, and that would be weird for Rosalina's.
Yeah, the little snowmobile that'd be kind of weird.
How do you? I mean, maybe the back part flips up, but like how you do the sled part.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, to me, it's very clear this is a new Mario Kart. Now, for them to show this first, it's kind of similar to when we saw Odyssey. Like we didn't know it was Odyssey, but we saw Odyssey, and it was like, okay, this is a new 3D Mario, and we got when did we get Odyssey?
The months later, it was November. I want to say that was like the holiday title, right? October
27th, and so the console released in March, so it was that same year though.
Yeah.
Either way, so Yeah, I mean that's crazy. For me personally, if I'm Nintendo,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, make this like your release title. Because for me, the way I look at it as like a business person, I'm looking at it as in this is our first year where we're supposed to get COD.
Mm-hmm.
Let it breathe. Like let it have that holiday. Like let COD have
Mm-hmm.
that holiday because this is the first time it's been back since Wii U. So let's let them have November.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
them have November because we got apparently a 10-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
So let them eat
Yeah.
and see how it picks up, especially if we're really trying to pitch this mouse functionality. If it's really a thing,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna want to do that with COD.
Man,
And
so many people are gonna start playing COD on the Switch with a mouse. Oh my gosh. Y'all gonna be like, yo, the PS5 version, the Xbox is trash because y'all can't play no keyboard and mouse. They're
because
like,
you really looking at a situation of okay, you got controller input, you got
mm-hmm,
mouse input, you got
mm-hmm,
gyro input.
mm-hmm.
So I mean, you could really like lay out a list of ways you can play that game. So
Man,
you could
and
really
don't
like okay, gyro versus mouse input, controller versus mouse input, gyro like that. Like just finding
and,
your style is
and
the key
don't let
thing.
them go nasty on you and let you use hybrid inputs and have the left hand be the move with the body, and the right mouse be the actual. Oh, it's
Boy,
oh,
they having the. I'm telling you,
no.
if that rumor is true, like they got the ability to let off on this. Like they really do.
Oh
So
man,
that'd
that's
be
gonna be
dope.
a
But
struggle.
the first thing that came to my mind was Splatoon 4, just kind of how that can control because there's already a beast with gyro.
Hmm.
But it
Hmm.
is one of those things to where like you add mouse functionality, you really start talking about those PC games, that
Hmm.
those PC cozy games that a lot of people they love to play on PC, don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure this will be a dope way for them to play it. Like we've said time and time again, EA, what are you doing? Where's
Yeah,
Sims? You know what I
yeah.
mean? And so I
Uh,
mean we look at that along with, any of these other point and click games like cool. We see things like you know, was it like World of Warcraft games or any of these MMOs, trying to play those games with all those mapped out controls is wild. Like it's I tried Final Fantasy 17 on console. I'm at 14 on console and
hmm.
no, I see why people choose mouse and keyboard. But yeah, we'll see. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. What is Risky done now?
I don't know. He's being wild on
He
talking about my
apologizing?
channel. Yeah, he said something about my channel. We'll get to it in a
Oh.
second. I'm gonna get to you in a second, Risky. Don't worry. But hi, Daphne. How are you doing?
Yes, I definitely.
I appreciate you coming in. Um, let's see. J2 said, I think Sandstorm's idea is neat, but I would replace the Switch one with the phone via the NSO app. It would give the app more functionality. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
I'm
what do we
still
do think they're gonna do with that? Like, is it gone or what we
I'm still in belief that the app is actually going to be on the Switch too. Like,
on the
and
actual
that
device?
yeah, I'm also thinking that we're gonna also get the music app on the device too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then
So,
like you can customize like what background.
mm-hmm,
Oh yeah, that'll be dope. Like you can
mm-hmm.
kind of go in and set it up to like, oh, I want to hear this every time I turn on my
Yeah,
device. Like, yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
yeah, because yeah, I'll leave it at that. That's that because honestly, like while I love the app on my phone and stuff, and like listening to stuff.
hmm
I just think it's a little weird that they would just I mean, and not like Alarmo weird, but like just weird that and I'll even say Alarmo too, but like it's weird that they would just have an app that they just came out with all the music and
hmm
like it attaches to your Switch online, but like there's no real connection outside of that point. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I think them just having that in there and you being able, and I'll even push it this far. This oh my gosh. So so I think realistically the app will also be on the Switch.
Okay.
And so you can have all that background music that y'all was complaining about. Like there's your background music. Stop bothering us.
Right.
Um and you can play that from there and as well as the eShop and all that other stuff. But also too, I think if you decide that you just want to listen to the music without even playing games or anything like that. Like when it's in the dock, you can just set it to the Nintendo Switch music app and then just play the music
Just have
from
it vibing.
yeah.
Okay. That
So
hey,
it just makes sense. If
it
it
really
don't
does.
happen, it don't happen. But it just like the lineup just is lined up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that's kind of what I think the NSO will open up a lot more functionality in that way. But I mean, they possibly could use that to attach with the original Switch. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you,
Yeah,
Richie.
he
Here we go.
doing too
Here we
much
go.
again.
He said, "What's going to happen to your channel if Switch 2 flop like the Wii U era?" So listen here. I'm be honest with you. If I could have glasses on right now, hold on. Here we go. Right here. Don't mind what kind of glasses they is. No, matter of fact, you know what? Here I go. Here I go. Here I go. Give me a second. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. All right. Let me do it
Throw
like
on the
that.
stunners.
Yeah,
All right.
Hold on. Let me go ahead and get you real quick. I'm gonna be honest with you, Mr. Anderson. My channel will not be affected by whether the Switch 2 is successful or flops.
Right.
Nowhere in my channel name do you see Switch, do you see Nintendo. The most you get is in the logo, and the logo represents everybody.
Yep.
My channel is not going to flop because of the Switch 2's success. It's not going to flop because of the Switch 2's flop. The Wii U era was what it was, and it was a great era for us who actually had the system. I know you're not one of those. So tell me, Mr. Anderson, how are you going to make your phone call if you're not able to speak? Ban him. No, I'm just playing. No, I'm just playing. Don't ban him. Yeah, no, but real talk. No, in all seriousness, I ain't got nothing to worry about, man.
Yeah, I'm about to say you're not a Nintendo centric channel.
No.
I mean, we talk about everything. I mean, for
Yeah.
anything. I mean, you talk about Diablo a
And that
lot,
ain't even on the
and that's
Switch.
not even on the Switch. So yeah, it's one of those things to where even if it was, I mean, we see a lot of channels still around that started on the Wii U. I mean, it's not like because there's gonna always be games that come out, and if you genuinely like the console, you're gonna find something to talk about. So it doesn't matter what the main consumer or the media try to tell you what it is. If you find enjoyment in it, you're gonna find something to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
As simple as that.
Absolutely. He said Mario Kart. Okay. So yeah, let's kind of talk about this real quick.
Ooh,
It's going to
yeah,
move Switch to like Breath of the
you
Wild did,
might you
and
might be right there.
I think it may even move it better because it's Mario Kart, and we haven't had
Yeah,
one since 2014. Well, us haven't had
technically, yeah.
one since 2014. So, like, man, and Mario Kart is the big banger. Like, and I think that was something that we were saying like right out the gate. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if even if you had Prime, Pokemon is coming in November or December, the later half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the one banger that you would have to ensure that you was getting sales?
Yeah.
And Mario Kart, if it wasn't Mario Kart or Smash, nothing has been said about Smash realistically. So like
Right.
Mario Kart has been the talk, like, or even a regular Mario game. Mario Kart, like, man, oh man, oh man. And that kills two birds with one stone.
It really does.
Because people who don't like to play games with other people will pick up the game because it's Mario Kart, and Mario
Yep.
Kart is fun regardless. But that also like kills the need for having an extra party game. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a 1-2 switch for this time around.
Please don't. Jesus. Yeah, look, Mario Kart is one of those rare games that ticks every box. Is a well-known franchise. It is a local party game. It is a multiplayer party game. And it's also something that is friendly enough for your mama, your grandma, your kids, You like everybody to jump on. Like nobody's running away from Mario Kart because they're like, oh, I remember this from something. Whether it's Super
Hmm.
Nintendo, is DS, is Wii, whatever. Like they remember it from something because they've kept a wider range of controls for this game. You want to turn it on the side, turn your Joy-Con on the side and just steer it like a steering wheel, do that. And we also got an accessory for you to do it.
Right.
If you want, and even with the Switch version, the deluxe version, they added the ability for you to have auto portions of the cart controlled. If you
Hmm.
knew your kid couldn't stay on the road, turn on that feature for auto steering, let them handle the gas and the brakes, and the rest will handle itself. So they're gonna make sure that is covered across the board. And because of that name, with a new console, and you show me like this is what it does, and this is honestly, they don't even have to tell you what's really different. Most casual consumers are like, hey,
They know.
it's a new Mario Kart, we own it. Like
this
that's what it is.
this don't look like that. Like there's something a little
No,
bit different about
yeah,
that one, the way that one looked. So they can see it.
right.
They can
Because the
easily see it.
Because the one thing I was worried about, based off of the rumors, they were making it seem like the Switch 2 was going to be white,
Mm.
like the OLED, and I was like, oof, that might be a little too close to home. Like even if you told me this was a new console, if I looked at them, because the OLED is bigger and it's all white console, yeah, it would have been like, oof, that's a little close. But I will say, now that they've shown this off, and then you see the accents behind the stick, I'm still cheering for one of the mock-ups I saw where it is a white one, but they got the rainbow color buttons. I'm still cheering for that one. I think you muted. I can't hear you. Ooh, can't hear you, sir. What happened to the audio?
Am I good now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now. Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I think there's still going to be room for that one. I think there's definitely going to be for the color coded one.
Mm-hmm.
It's somewhat odd that they didn't color, and like TG said before, this could be an early rendering or a mock up of it, because we don't even see any like buttons or anything like that for either one of the games that they showed off, with being
Right.
Mario Kart, what we expect the new Mario Kart, or Mario Wonder, I think is the other one that they showed off. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the finished model could have different colorings, but that also means that not only is the X, A, and Y and B color coded, have to be color coded, but I think also the arrow buttons have to be color coded at that point too,
Yeah, it has to,
that sideways. So
because it wouldn't look right.
yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I
Yep.
think you have to do that. What up, Joycey? Appreciate you coming through. Thank you for coming through, Joycey. Hey, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Geronimo too, because I see you in the building too. That's what's up.
But yeah, I'm
Uh,
I'm I'm excited, man. It's like I said, watching this at work, even though I was supposed to be working,
mhm.
just
I
like
feel
going
you.
through different like meetings that I had today, and I'm sitting there just like, all right, cool. What else could I think of that's gonna happen with this? And everything that Nate said was gonna happen happened, but
Yep.
at the same time too, one of the key posts like I put up, if you went out your way to find rumors, don't be disappointed on what you saw, because this
Right.
is your
Right.
fault. You did this. Like it is what it is. But all in all, I mean, we'll see more games. Um,
What's
you know,
interesting? One last thing. Sorry, my
mhm.
bad.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Is if you notice when they turn, Toad turns in the back here, like his car lifts up.
Yep, it lift up. Yeah, because Donkey
It,
Kong do the same thing when they make this other turn, and I think Mario does too. You see them
yeah.
tires come up off the ground.
Yeah. I wonder if that's like an attack, maybe. How
I
they
don't
how
know.
they sliding into each
Oh,
other
and
like
they
that?
jump, so they got a jumping mechanic with that too. I mean, because you could jump on deluxe, but
Yeah.
that looked a little bit different with the animation.
Yeah, that looked like an
Yeah, you can see
actual
like
little or hot.
bouncing situation. But then yeah, with the
Hmm.
drifting, everybody's like tires are up.
Yeah, like
They,
you.
they- there's gonna be a lot of love in
Yeah,
this game.
look at that. What? That
I
boy
had
on
on
2
two wheels. Because like I
wheels.
said, now you jump and you just drift, and you still there. But now
Hmm.
like you drifting on two wheels, it's like all right, cool, 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 cool.
Right.
But
I wonder if that'll cause you to spin out or fall or what have you.
that'd be interesting, because they could really add a lot of detail to this
Hmm.
game. My
Hmm.
only thing is this: I'm loving everything I see, and then like I said, you see all those crashes down there, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I love the detail, but I need them to finally do what Diddy Kong did so long ago. Add a story mode to this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very easy because, like I said, even when you look at Diddy Kong, they found a way for that game to have replayability
Mm-hmm.
and for it not to get boring. Because every section that you went to, it was either you had a different type of vehicle, which in
Yep.
this case you can do whatever vehicle you want, but they had different type of vehicles. And then when you went through the level the first time, yep, you had to win your race, but then you had the ability, now you had to go back and get those Nintendo 64 coins. Then
Mm-hmm.
you had to go get a key to unlock something. And then, you talk about time trials on top of that. And then you had the boss battles at the end for that level. And then the lovely thing that we seem to have gotten all the way away from in gaming, unlocking characters,
Oh, I
unlocking things.
know.
I was like,
Horrible.
we substituted that for DLC.
Mm-hmm.
And it, to me, that was like one of the saddest changes within gaming. Because I mean, I know for those that want to, let's say if I have a fighting game or a racing game, you
Mm-hmm.
want to have everybody unlocked so that way you and your buddies can easily start playing multiplayer.
Yep.
I get that aspect of it, but me personally, as a single player as well as a multiplayer person, give me the ability to have fun with it on both fronts. Because really, the biggest fun that I always talk to my kids about when it came down to Diddy Kong Racing, not only was it like the 3 different vehicles, but the
Mm-hmm.
fact that there was a way to unlock TT. There was a way to unlock the rooster. I'm forgetting his name, but he was like the fastest before you got TT. But you had to
Right.
like grind because there were certain things you had to complete to get them, and when you got them, there was nobody touching you. So like, and that's what I missed because there was a reason to do single player other than just being single player and then them having fillers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the key thing that they could really bring back. And granted, yes, you can use Bowser as a character, but what stops you from racing against, a big Bowser? Or even when we look at games like Forza,
Mm-hmm.
they have those type of races to where, like, yeah, you can race against other cars, but race against this plane, race against this boat that's in the water, and see who gets to the finish line first. Like, they can find other ways of doing that, but I think bringing those boss battles back and unlocking characters to me, would be, what's needed. Yeah, I mean, a certain Square. I mean, you're right. Yeah, people buy them, and like that's my thing too. If that's the route you want to go, do
Mm-hmm.
that. But in reality, give me the ability to just put in the work to unlock it. Because that's what, and the next game I come back to is like Marvel's Capcom 2.
That's what I
Like,
was just about to say.
like
That
it's
killed me.
because you literally like you would like get points for you to go and buy the character that
Yep.
you want. So it wasn't
Yep.
even like on some random stuff. It's like, hey, I want Morgan or I want Akuma, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna make sure I get this money to go buy that character. So
And then the fact that they were all there for you, like right out the gate, was like, wait, no, come on,
yeah,
man. Like
yeah.
that just ruins the fun of it.
It really does. And that's where Mario in itself, because I know the coins serve a purpose. Like you have max speed when you reach 10. But what
Mm-hmm.
if I keep collecting coins and I stack up those coins to then go buy cart parts and go
Mm-hmm.
and unlock other characters? Like, give me a reason to collect this stuff. So,
TG said, "Why do we have to apologize to Nate Hate? Like, why are people saying that? It's baffling."
you want
Some
to
of
answer
them,
that?
yeah, some people were kind of going a little
Yeah, a
over the
little crazy.
top.
Yeah.
Like, they expected the reveal to be yesterday, not the reveal, but an announcement for the reveal yesterday. And so, like, it, and it never came, obviously.
Right.
And it's funny to me because I even put on like and it wasn't towards Nate, it was actually towards the community. Like, are we getting nervous? Like,
Yeah.
half
Hmm.
the day is going by, are we getting nervous? I think it was like 7:20, and I'm like, yo, 10 minutes, are we getting nervous? Like, what is it? Like, how y'all feeling right now? How y'all feeling?
Right.
And I mean, like, it's just crazy. And a lot of people have been sending like hate texts and all that
Yeah.
stuff to him.
Hmm.
And it's, yeah, like Geronimo said, like, Nate lied. No, he didn't lie. He said nothing about there being a reveal of the trailer. He just said the trailer was coming on the 16th.
It's just what
Uh,
people speculated because that's typically what Nintendo
mhm,
does. They prepare you for the announcement,
mhm.
but they shadow dropped it,
And
and that's what people, they weren't expecting that, so they were going at Nate like, oh, they ain't said nothing yet. And it was like, he said the 16th. He didn't say they were going to give you an announcement before the announcement.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny. It's funny because this is let this be a lesson to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
let this be a real lesson, not to y'all, but like to the community as a whole. We've seen this time and time again where people take stuff and they run with it. And
Yeah.
you know, and Risky, you probably the only one who's gonna get smashed for this. Pause. But like we see this time and time again on Twitter. We've seen, you know, supposed specs of the Switch. Oh, that means it can't do this. Oh, that means graphically it's right here. Oh, that means this. That means that. But like, we haven't even seen the system yet. You know
Correct.
what I'm saying? At that time, we hadn't even seen the system yet. So how can you say that? Like, you haven't even put it in your hands. Digital Foundry doesn't even have the Switch
at all.
Like, so what do you? So you're coming up with your own theories as to what it's actually going to be and what it's actually going to look like. Now, when that system gets in your hands, don't be sitting there. You know, they changed it last minute. They heard what we were. Nah, that's not how that works.
That's not how that works at all. And Risky, you actually bring up something that I wanted to mention. So thank you, even though I know that's not your intent. But but Camilla actually did a post today too, to where he was pretty much like shunning all the leakers for the things that happened with the Switch 2. So I'm gonna turn off my consumer button and I'm gonna put on my creator hat. For anybody that is here within the chat, if you had a project that you spent years on and you couldn't wait to show your fan base what that project was, and there was somebody leaking it every step of the damn way, you would feel the same way. Because imagine the excitement that you could have garnered. Like, there are some of us that are still excited, even though we saw the rumors. But there are some people that are genuinely like pissed off on Twitter right now, even though that's a small demographic. There are people that are pissed off right now, even making videos surrounding around it because of that. And yeah, even I saw his post of like, he's talking about like they should be shunned and cursed and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, that's going a little too far. But from a creator's perspective, like I'll be pissed if my album got leaked or if something that I had prepared for all of you, I would be pissed off if you saw it before I was ready to present it to you. Cause maybe I had this huge rollout. I had something bigger and better for you so it can go into the entire experience. You know what I'm saying? Like I had like this skit laid out. I had these posts laid out and I want your suspense to be there. And then somebody comes and blows up because of clout. Like, I'll be pissed too. So yeah. And then like I said, it comes right back around full circle to speaking credence to what I'm saying. There are consumers right now that are pissed off that it was correct because they chose to go find the rumors, but they were put out there because respect to Nate. But what did this do for him? Respect to Next Handheld, but what did that do for him? You know what I'm saying? All it did was take a company that put effort, time, and money into a product that you all will more than likely love and just kind of crapped on it. It's the same thing when their games get leaked. Man, I put time and invested time and money in this, and you like, oh, Nintendo's not consumer friendly, so yeah, I could steal their product. Really? If you cared that much about them being consumer friendly, you would have never stole it or even played it in the first place. But I know people's protests ain't that strong. Like, people's protests ain't that strong. They too weak for that. You know what I'm saying? So so that's my creative hat. Because it's one thing to say, okay, well, leaks happen. Yeah, I mean, scummy stuff happen all the time. And yeah, while we still enjoy it, at the same time, it does hurt that company. Yeah. And at the end of the day, if I was Nintendo, I'd be livid. Right. Because that, to me personally, the way I took it, this trailer may have looked completely different. if this, because this wasn't a typical Nintendo type of presentation. This was like, hey, yep, they showed you this. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Now get out my face. Yeah. See you in April. Like that's what it felt like.
It's so funny because like in anime motion, they're like, here it is. Here it is. I'm glad I can show you this. finally. And then they do that turnaround towards the leakers and like, I'm coming for you. You know the glasses. You know the glasses where you can see through the eyes, but one of them's just all shaded, and you can see the one eye. I am coming for you.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's just my take on it. Like I said, I consume the rumors just like everybody else, but as a creator, that stuff gotta hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when you've been, giving people joy for how long now?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like they continue to give you a different product. They continue to give you creative products while the rest are just giving you shooters and looters and all this other stuff that they're just trying to get a strike for like this great hit because Call of Duty did it or because Overwatch did it. Like they're just trying to copy everybody else, and Nintendo goes out their way to still be creative because they have the means to do so, and people kind of crap on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yep.
mean that's my takeaway on it. But I mean, yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
Camilla, like yeah, he went hard, but ultimately at the end of the day, I agree with them.
Yes, Risky. Emulation equals piracy.
Yes.
You are quite correct. Yeah, Brent Smith said always said leakers should receive jail time minimum 2 years. I mean, listen, if you break NDA, I feel like that should be, you know what I'm saying? It's hard because you're a company, right? You're a big company.
Mhm.
So like one person to leak it out to another person, like it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like everybody said, it's gonna happen at some point. And I think a lot of people think like what's the worst part about it is I can guarantee you Nintendo had this plan the whole time of going January 16th
Right.
anyway, and like they just couldn't keep it tight. You know,
Correct. Yeah.
keep that lit tight. It's it's almost as if you it's hard, man. It's hard
Mhm.
because somebody has to make the system, and then
Yeah.
and you have to have NDAs and people sign for there. But like some of these people are like,
They don't care.
do I want to make $10 an hour working on a Switch, or do I want to have 200 million followers because I found out I know all this information about the Switch? You know what I'm
For a
saying?
hot minute though, because honestly, like once it's all said and done, what
Yeah,
then?
you back to a regular person. But people
Yeah,
don't think that far ahead. They just
that's
like,
true.
I get the clout.
That's true.
I'm the person. I get now this may possibly allow me to be a well-known source and all this other stuff, but you about to get fired tomorrow. Like, you know. What'd you say, Risky? Sans for the next 5 years is going to be epic for gaming industry, especially with the upcoming Steam
Why do
Deck.
you keep saying this?
True.
You've repeated this, Risky.
Right,
You
right,
repeated this. We have
right.
heard nothing about a Steam Deck 2 because 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to see one because they're actually putting out the Steam OS for other devices to use it.
Mm-hmm. And
Because I
not
mean,
well, no, nothing about the PS handheld or the new Xbox
nothing,
handheld. But what I
nothing.
would say is good job, Nintendo, for moving the industry in the direction
There
that
you go.
everybody is trying to follow. How about that?
Exactly. Now, one thing I didn't ask you that I was
Mhm.
actually curious to hear your thoughts on. How did you feel with this being your first time? How did you feel about the reveal? Like, did you feel like there was not enough? It was too simplistic. Like, did you feel like it was just enough because, you know,
Mm,
to differentiate and show the consumer, hey, this is the Switch versus the Switch 2, so that way you don't
mhm,
get confused again
mhm.
this time around.
I so listen. I think that was good. I
Mhm.
definitely think they started it off the right way.
Okay.
Like because I think even immediately when I first saw this and we were talking, I was like, okay, so that's the original Switch. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like they distinctive.
Your voice went out again. Your microphone don't like you today. Silent storm. Well, let me get my thoughts while you try to figure that out. Um, Me personally, I think this was the best way you could have done it. Because one thing I've seen on Twitter for the past couple of months,
Mm-hmm.
people will go out their way to be confused on
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah.
Like the fact that when they came out and said that, oh, the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible with all software.
Mm-hmm.
And people was like, well, what software is it, digital or physical? I'm like, are you for real? Like you're trying to figure out a way to be confused. And so, oh, you're good on your mic now. But
Good.
Nintendo Cisco, what's
Hey,
up,
what
bro?
up? What up?
What's up, guys?
So that's where, like, for me, when they show this, no talking, nothing extra. I don't want your attention nowhere else.
Mm-hmm.
These are the differences, and right next, side by side, this is the Switch 2, and this is the Switch. I dare you to say you're confused on which one is which.
Mhm.
Like, that's what I liked, because yeah, they could have given all the flair and all the hype for it, but like I said, some people go out their way to be confused on purpose. And like I said, it was a clear indicator when they mentioned the software, as well as, you know, when you talk about your average consumer. Man, that's where I'm like, okay, even with the average consumer, the box is clearly going to say Switch 2 on it.
Yeah.
And to me, that's where, if you've ever worked in retail, your job is to explain it to the customer, to
Mhm.
educate the customer. Even as content creators, there are some people that get on and just have fun, but I also take this as an opportunity to educate the people that choose to come and listen to me. Like, all right, these are the differences, and this
Yeah.
is what you should know. Even though I'm not like this big tech guy, I got enough common sense to be able to give you the distinction between the two, and what if I feel like you should purchase it or not. But ultimately, I think they showed it the way they did, very quick, to the point, and very slow on the details of the differences. So that way, you know, the main person can't get on here and say, well, that doesn't look too much different. I don't see how you can differentiate the Switch from the Switch 2. I think it's very clear, the differences between the two.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I was gonna say, is like when they started off this trailer originally, like that was like the first
Mhm.
thing I said, right? Is like,
Yep.
okay, we got the Switch, like, and that's why I moved and it hit the microphone. But like this distinctly, they've shown this off since the
Mhm.
original Switch. Like, this is how you get the Switch whenever they show a commercial or anything like that. So you know now, like when they show this with these color
Yeah.
Joy-Cons, it's like, oh, okay. So we're
Right.
looking at the Switch right now. And then when they move, I don't know why I still have this on like super slow speed. But like when they move, let me speed it up just a tad bit. When they move to the other Switch, you're like, okay, so this distinctively is
Mhm.
the new Switch. I like how they presented that. You know, that was, like you said, clear indication that we're not dealing with the same thing. I will say, they flicked. Never in my life have I ever flicked off Joy-Cons that fast. Never in my life has my Joy-Con rails allowed me to slide off them Joy-Cons so fast. I don't know where they did. I don't know what kind of magic they did with that, but that wasn't real. Like, that was all AI
Right.
generated. So they even kind of, you know, like they just did right there, like kind of pushed it forward, and now they splash you like, okay, so that was the old Switch, you know, but we're doing this, like, and doing this, and like, so they're showing you the transformative state of what
Right.
the new Switch
Mhm.
is, right? So you distinctly know this ain't the same thing that's in your hand, you know.
TG, yep, you are
Um,
correct. That was my question too. Like, how is it confusing when Nintendo do it, but then your difference from Xbox One to the
mhm.
Series or PlayStation 4 to the 5, you knew that was the new one. Just because it looked different, you knew what it was able to do or what it was capable of doing. I'm like, all right, y'all got it.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I would say for that part specifically, I like the moves that they made with it. Now, once again, I do. I don't think that this trailer was rushed
Right.
in any kind of way, but I do have a feeling that a lot of
Yeah.
stuff was taken out in between. You don't need to explain a whole lot with this, and I think we've said
Yeah.
that time and time again, right? You don't need to explain a whole lot, because initially it's just a switch for more features, but when you talk about features, you want to actually have something a little bit bigger
Right.
with it to talk about. But like, I don't know. I feel like some things were left
Yeah.
out on purpose, and I think a lot of that was due to the
Mm-hmm.
rumors. Um, they, for example, they show us the original Switch at the very end next to the new
Mm-hmm.
Switch 2 and show you the size difference
Right.
between the two. But if you look at that picture, doesn't really look like there's too
Mm-mm.
much difference. And Risky, don't be trying to run away with this, but it doesn't look like there's too much difference between the two, even if it was a backwards
Right.
compatible game, right? But I feel like if that was the case and you were saying, okay, this is not just a size upgrade, because that's how most people are going to, most general consumers are going to
Right.
kind of see it as, oh, it's
Right.
just a size upgrade. Oh, they switched the controllers. Is that there would have been something in between to be like, okay, not only is there a size upgrade, but like there's a distinct difference in prowess between this and that. And they could have easily have used Xenoblade
Yeah, they
Chronicles
really could
X
have.
as that
Yeah.
piece. You know what I'm saying? And for whatever reason, they chose not to, and that's why I think there could have been more, but I think this was okay to just be like,
Right.
here it is, shut up. Yeah. What do you
Yeah,
think,
I think
Cisco?
I don't know. This trailer really screamed like we weren't ready, but here, like I
Right.
guess, like fine, it ruined the surprise. Yeah, no, definitely, there's something going on. Well, again, I'm really into the Kit and Krista podcast, and they kind of confirmed that
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo's pissed about this.
Yeah.
And then they're definitely the way they just shadow dropped it and put I think there was like an original title to the video. They definitely are like feeling a
Yeah.
certain type of way.
I told you, Shadow. I was like, it
Yeah.
wasn't this.
Yeah.
It was like Nintendo
Yeah.
has an update. I'm like, what kind of title is that? I was like, okay, sure.
That is pretty interesting. No one's ever talked about that. The little plastic around the joystick. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's just color or if
Yeah.
that's like a rubber texture. And I was wondering. I mean, I don't know nothing about like tech and stuff like that, but I was wondering if that's a way to prevent like Joy-Con drift, because Joy-Con drift isn't that.
Yeah, because as I'm looking at it, like the Joy-Con, I forgot where my camera is. The Joy-Con in here kind of goes inward, right? The plastic
Yeah.
around it goes inward. So there's area for it to have dust and all that other stuff. And you can even see, I don't know how close I can get it, but you can even see that there's like the nub
Yeah.
on the top that is on top of a ball, where this Joy-Con, it looks like it's all just flush together.
Because the dust goes
You know?
into like under the flap, and that's what causes the drift at some
Yeah.
point.
Mhm.
And I wonder if
Yeah.
if that's a rubbery texture, it could also be good at like collecting dust and preventing it from
Yeah.
being shifted up there. That's what I was thinking. I don't know if that's what it is, but
Mhm.
that's my
I mean,
first
that's
thought
an
when I saw
interesting
that.
thought process for sure. Like, and especially too, because it looks like the
Yeah.
base of it is pretty thick compared to the one you just showed. So, I mean, there could be a lot of
Yeah.
preventative measures here for Joy-Con drift, even if this is Hall Effect. Is like I said in my video, like people saw Hall Effect and they ran with that. And like, it doesn't mean that it's immune to
Mhm.
drift. It's just a better
Yeah.
design.
Right.
But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, looking at the colors, I just thought it was a color thing. But yeah, I didn't even imagine it being something to help with that protection.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
imagine like a rubbery
That's
texture
very
that's
true.
stopping it. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a plain color to it, but that's what I
Mm.
was thinking. Maybe. Let's see.
Yeah. And actually now it makes me wonder how it's gonna look when it actually
Right.
moves around. Like, does the
Well, they
rubber
have a
move with
piece on
it?
here where they're
Like, you
moving the
know?
stick around. I don't know if that will actually showcase that for us. While you're looking for that, on another note, for anybody that was upset that there was no previous announcement for this, well, you got one that's 2.5 months in advance. So now April 2nd is the next direct. So
Right.
you don't
April
need
2nd.
24-hour advance notice. They give you a 2.5 month advance notice. So
Right. You all there. There it
all right,
is.
let me see. Oh no, so it's just a plastic piece
Oh, so it does.
that's
No,
there. Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't move with it.
But the way they flip that around so far makes me,
Looks like it has more.
because that's how the old
Yeah.
nub is. Yeah. But it looks like it's sitting up a little bit higher, but that still is
For
room
dust.
for
Yeah.
for
I think
dust
that's
to
what it
collect
is.
in. So maybe that hall effect is actually true as far as it goes, so they can prevent it a little bit better. Because I was even thinking that it's like, how do you? I mean, you only have so much room in that controller
Yeah,
to be able to
it
do
is.
so
Yeah.
much, right? With the design. Wait a minute, let me go back here because there was something. Was that the bottom, the release button that? Oh no, it's just the way that. Okay, I was gonna say it's the way that the
Mhm.
trigger button is sitting underneath the actual controller. It looked like there was like a third button. I'm like, wait a minute, they out here making more buttons and ain't nobody said nothing about another button. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just this button. Like it's clean all the way around where this button, on here was just kind of
Oh, interesting.
just
Yeah.
the
Yeah, it's very
little
sleek.
piece right there. I wonder I'm guessing this is still gonna be digital buttons. We're not looking at
Oh
analogs.
yeah, for sure. Like, because to me, and I've asked this question, for people that really prefer it. I'm like, what games really take advantage of analog outside of racers and shooters?
Outside of
Because even some
racers.
shooters don't even really
Yeah.
take advantage of it, not for real. So it's like, what game? Like, what is the preference for? Because even I've seen for the same people that say, "Hey, I want analog," they have those like elite controllers and the pro controllers that allow you to like shorten up the throw, and they go with the shortest throw.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so might as well have
The
digital.
shortest
Like,
throw.
what's
Yeah.
the point?
Right.
I don't get it, but I guess I don't know. So
Yeah. That just costs too much for as far as man, I'm telling you, there's something
Yeah.
under here. There's something with those the little pieces that are right here,
because
right
even with this
here
top
on there.
button,
That
I'm still like, even though I've heard that it may be a release for the handle,
what I
like,
think.
wouldn't that
yeah,
still be the back trigger that can release it? Yeah,
this button. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
because I would still
This has
use
got to
that
be
back
something
trigger for that
else.
release for the strap. So what is that?
Yeah,
Like what is that? Maybe it's like to recenter your
that's
mouse
interesting.
if it to calibrate
Oh,
it. Maybe.
That is so cool. I hope
yeah.
that function, if they
Me
go
too.
through the mouse, I hope it works well. I hope it's not one of those gimmicks that kind of falls through like the camera on the
Yeah.
Joy-Con.
Like, my thing
Yeah,
is, we've had
yeah.
mouse technology for a while now. If you mess this up, it's like mouse has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Like
You can
you
go to the
should be
store
able
buy
to.
a mouse for $5. Like
Yeah,
it should be simple. It should work.
should be very simple.
And they
hmm
both got
Which
one,
yeah,
which is
so I meant what for
interesting.
like left hand or even like one of the speculations I heard, and I think it was what Game Explained. They were talking about like Wario
Mm-hmm.
instantly using both of them for you to
Mm-hmm.
kind of do like some wax on, wax off situation. Or,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Oh, yeah, that would
Oh,
be
okay.
interesting. Yeah. That's the whole reason why these buttons go all the way to
yeah,
the shoulder. Like these ones
not
kind
really.
of,
Yeah,
but not really. You know what I'm saying? They don't go over to the top of it. Oh, there we go. They don't go over the top of it, and this one definitely doesn't. And this one does on here. So yeah, you could definitely tell that's
they thought about it.
exactly what
Yeah,
they'll be used for.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
We'll see.
I
So
don't
Cisco,
know.
what are you thinking about the alleged C button that's been floating around?
I'm
Yeah, I came up with my idea,
Ooh.
but I'll tell you, but I'll let you
Ooh,
go. I'll let
C
you
button.
go.
Yeah, I'm curious what that is. I don't know really. Like, I feel like it's gonna be something simple, like just click it to mute chat or something. I don't know. Like,
I'll be clicking it a lot then. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I
Right.
don't know. Or I think somebody brought this one idea up. I don't remember who it was, but they said something about like having like to do like DS games or something to have the
Yep.
screen one screen and then you're switched on the screen. Wait, no, how that wouldn't work. Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
So the way that we were
Because
talking
that-
about doing it was having like you press that button to connect to a switch or like a different version of the switch, and then dock this one so that way you can utilize that switch as like the bottom screen and then your TV as the top screen.
Yeah.
So that's how we were talking about it, or possibly just like, and I know I've heard people mention like just using the switch to itself, press that button, and then there's just one little component within the dock itself that is the host to feed it to the TV for you to be able to do that whole 3DS situation
Yeah.
or Wii U situation.
Interesting.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I was saying that so they have the USB on the top of the Switch too. is that when you dock it, you dock it, and you could take the Switch 2 will come with a USB to USB-C to USB-C, and you would dock it, and you would put the USB-C at the top of this Switch, and then take it to this Switch, and so now this Switch is your second screen. So now you can do the Wii U functionality with like Xenoblade Chronicles X, and that button was to kind of accept as like connecting the two, not making that USB-C to USB-C a power or anything like that, but actually connecting the two. And so now you have this as your Wii U tablet, if you would, while you can still play on the TV, and the Switch 2 being the host for that.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So basic things behind that, but yeah, because whatever they said as the C button in this render, at least that C is not on that button. So
we'll have to sit back and
unless
wait.
it's just a simple button where you click it to enter the mouse mode. There's that too.
That too, because that could be
that's
annoying
true.
if you take that off and it automatically thinks it's in mouse mode. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to use either gyro or just motion controls. I don't want to use the mouse mode. Stop sensing that. So maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also too, to answer one of Risky's questions, I think he geared it towards you, Sandstorm. I'm actually looking forward to the Xbox Direct next week. Contrary to belief, I mean, Xbox is like my second favorite console behind Nintendo. I've tried PlayStation a few times. I mean, Sandstorm, you've known I've had like 2 or 3 PS5s at this point, and I got my fill and I got rid of it. Like it was gone. So I'm looking forward to it. Just simply because I think at some point this doom and gloom that everybody has for Xbox is going to pan out, because they're just going to put their games where it needs to go. And sometimes it's best to take a good game and put it somewhere else instead of leaving it on your console to die. And that's what's been happening with Xbox. Like, they have good games. It's just, one, their crowd really doesn't pick up on everything. But then also, two, it may have fared better somewhere else. Like, anytime I look at Gears, Gears is a great Xbox game, but it also will be a great PlayStation game too. Like, I think it would fare very well on PlayStation. Halo, as we know it, may be coming everywhere at this point. And then I've always said that, Astro definitely needs to be somewhere near Nintendo. And then when we look at Horizon, solely because how it's performed, that's the only reason why I say it needs to go somewhere, because it really should just be like that top PlayStation title. It's just nobody picks it up. So I mean, if it's going to go somewhere, I mean, I think it would fare very well on at least Switch, because I don't think the Xbox crowd will play Horizon. I really don't.
What about you?
I'm excited for anytime there's any game announcements. Anytime I've not been excited for, like, let's say a PlayStation or Xbox or even Nintendo, there's always a game that eventually I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I get excited when that was announced? This game's awesome. And so I was learning to pay more attention. And so I'm pretty excited. I didn't even know there was announcements coming up, like a little Xbox.
Yeah, it's
on the
next
23rd
week, right?
I just as someone who lived through the goods and bads of, like, Nintendo, for example, like Wii U, just don't discount any game console or any dev. Like, they'll surprise you. And Xbox is the same. I know Xbox is kind of on a lower on the totem pole, right?
On the flat,
but that doesn't mean they can't announce something that's gonna be like, whoa, okay, Xbox, I see you. Like, I'm waiting for that moment. So yeah.
I think this this first look was necessary. I think we talked about it just a little bit. The first look was necessary because everybody's ready to throw out their games that they have for the Switch. I expect. Well, we already expected 2 games from the Microsoft area. A Doom, I definitely think is going to be there. And then everybody's talking about the Halo Master Chief Collection. Don't be surprised if they show, and I'm saying this, I'm not, I don't have any sources, but this is just common logic. Don't be surprised if you see more footage of Perfect Dark and it come to the Switch too as well. Especially when that was a more recent game that they announced for Switch Online was Perfect Dark, and they've been slowly letting loose with rare titles. Don't be surprised that that be a title too that is getting announced for the Switch. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for it. I expect like Skyrim 6 to be on there?
I was
No.
expect to see that game anytime soon on anything, but
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I would be surprised if it even showed up
yeah,
this
yeah,
summer. I don't think it's showing up until at least next year. But yeah, I think we'll get quite a few titles that we're gonna be surprised that are coming over to Nintendo. And
yeah.
I'm here for it. I'm glad this has
Yeah.
finally gotten out of the
Mhm.
way. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad we can all be counselors and they can finally sit down and talk about what they need to talk about, show off what they need to show off, so everybody else can get their games and stuff
Yeah.
like that off
I
their
think that's
chest.
pretty dope.
And I think
Yeah.
it's quite
I
a
mean, like
few.
I said, the indie
Yeah.
crowd has already started. Like they've already started putting stuff up there.
Mhm.
So because one game I've paid very close attention to is Demon Tide. And while they hinted at something, they were like, oh, what if our game came to the Switch 2 and had mouse functionality, control functionality, and motion? And everybody was like, is that what's happening? It's like, oh, no, we're just throwing stuff out there. I'm like, really?
Right, right.
So I'm all for it. But yeah, I mean, I will say, even though like I told you, I'm going one platform this generation, and I'm trading in my Xbox, trading in my Switch whenever this thing is ready to go to be pre-ordered. One thing I'm going to possibly have to hold out for is Expedition 33 and South of Midnight. Like I really want to play those games. And if there's no Switch 2 announcement, then I might have to hold off on turning in my Xbox for a little bit until I play those games, especially Expedition 33. Like
Mhm.
that game just looks so good. Like that's my type of
Mhm.
RPG. And I gotta at least taste it before I let go of my Xbox. I got to.
Yeah. So yeah, we're excited. We're excited, and I don't remember if Jay is doing that one or
Which
not.
one?
The Xbox.
I have no
Direct.
idea. Yeah.
I don't remember, but we will be doing it. I don't think it'll be as early as this one. It'll probably be at a later time, to be honest with y'all. So, but we will be watching it over here. I think since okay, I don't know what y'all. I don't know. They feel like you blocked them, so I can only go off of what they were saying. You know, like I didn't hear
Brand,
him.
like
What do you mean?
that's
I didn't.
Brand. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm matter of fact, I'm about to go to their Twitter page now, and I'm like, hey, look, I'll buy this on whatever you put it on, but hear me out. Like just even if it's a late port, get it over there because we don't. Do we have a date on it?
No, I don't think so.
33.
I don't think it's this year. I am excited because it reminds me of the old, like, what is that game? It reminds me of like the Legend of Dragoon style, Xenogears style with the setup and everything. Definitely. Is it Legend of? No, yeah, Legend of Dragoon and like Xenogears where you got to press the button at the right time and all that. Yeah, I miss those. Like I'm kind of done with. I'm not really, but I am kind of done with RPGs where press X to attack. Do you want to attack? Use magic, and then you use it.
Right.
Oh, you miss. Like, dang. Okay. Like I want it to be a little more skill based, where you have to time the attacks and stuff like that. Right. That's always.
So we'll definitely see what happens. I mean, based off of what they've listed, they only got 2025 listed. For that and the South of Midnight. So they're only charted to come this year. So
So South of Midnight is probably the one that's more you will more likely see because that was actually supposed to
Yeah.
come out last year. Yeah, and they moved it back. So yeah, I think you'll probably end up seeing that one first before you see Expedition. Expedition might come in
Which
the holiday. Man,
I'm
it's gonna
for it.
be
Like, give me time to breathe, because if we're talking about that
Mhm,
first lineup of first party games along with third party games, everybody's gonna try to drop at the same time. Because
mhm,
even like Geronimo's mentioned, Monster Hunter Wilds, I'm still in that Hunter
mhm.
crowd. So if there's too much, I'm just like, dude, like, like, because at this point, yeah, I'm trading in a lot. So GameStop better not screw me over,
Mhm.
because I've been a member since '08. Like, you gotta like when I do these trade-ins, but ultimately, like, I gotta
Right,
get the
right.
SD card, those express SD cards. So gotta get the console itself, gotta get a pro controller because I'm pretty sure they're gonna have one. And then, we
Mhm.
gotta get into the games. And hopefully they stay in the 60 range, for the most part. But yeah, yeah.
Respectable, yeah, but you never know.
So I'm all for it.
They dropped Zelda and was like,
Ooh, that's it.
but you're
Yeah, I'm
gonna
gonna
buy
get
it
talking about
though.
price of games. Yeah, I'm nervous about that one. I can't do 70, man. I hope they don't do that.
I hope they
Yeah.
don't either because every game gonna be
Oh,
on budget. You're gonna catch if you want to review, it's gonna be 365 days
yeah,
Yeah.
later.
for sure.
I
I
just
just
played the Kirby Return to Dreamland. I beat it yesterday, and it's like, Kirby games are quick. You beat them in like 7 hours, 10 hours max, and it's like
Mhm.
I had fun with it, but I was like, man, like I got a GameStop like sale. Man, if I paid 70 for that, I'd be a little heated. I'll be like, come on.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
100%. So
Mhm.
I'm all for it, man. I'm just ready, because even like for metaphor, yeah. I mean, I haven't touched it because that demo scared me. Like that demo, it took a minute to get started with that demo. So that demo scared me. I don't have that kind of time like that anymore. I'm back at work. I got a little girl, so I just don't have that type of time anymore. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm looking forward to those two right now. Is
Mhm.
Expedition 33 and South of Midnight. Like, hopefully they don't let me down, because there have been games I've looked forward to, and then I got them and I'm like, ugh. All right, because like, what was it? High on Life was one of them, and that was it called, like Gronk or something like that, that released on the Xbox. Yeah,
Gronk,
that kind of let
yeah.
me down. That did not turn out like I thought it was. So those are like the ones that really hit me. But ultimately, if I see those two, they're getting purchased day one. Those are the ones I'll give an excuse. I'll say I'll give you 70 for right
Risky
now.
risky to me, no
Okay,
game is
Risky.
worth
Like,
$70.
you name me a game that puts more love and detail and shit in it than Tears of the Kingdom. I don't care how it runs.
Right.
All the stuff you can do in that
I
game.
hope you say Spider-Man.
I
I
need
hope
him to
you
say
say
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Please say
I need him to say
Spider-Man.
I need him to say Spider-Man.
Spider-Man or what's the walking
Death
simulator? That
Stranding.
one. Say one of those.
That get
Death
no.
Stranding. Yeah, please say
Mm-mm.
Death Stranding.
Like I said, I agree, Brand. Like, no,
uh,
for me, no game is worth 70, but there are some games that I can make a case for.
Mhm.
Like,
yeah, I can
yeah.
understand that are 70. Is it worth it to me? No.
Te-
Will I bite the bullet and still bite it
Yeah.
or buy it? Yes. Tears of
Those
the
are one of
Kingdom
them.
was
Yeah.
definitely
Tears of the
that.
Kingdom and Elden Ring were the only two games I ever paid 70 for. Every other game, I'm like, well, you got to wait for a sale now.
Mm,
And the crazy
I'm
thing is,
very
even
anti
with,
yeah.
70.
because even with Elden Ring, like, while I didn't enjoy it, I understood the
Mhm.
pricing of it. Like, I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
like something for me to say, like, okay, I see you. Like, it may not be my cup of tea, but I get it.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
Tears of the Kingdom.
And
When I remember when you go down that pit and there's a whole third map. That's when I was like, that's why it's
yes.
70. That's where the money went. Like I was like, okay, I'm not complaining. Now I'm good. Like,
Because on paper, when you hear people explain it, they're like, "Oh, it's the same map, but then there's just like a top level and a bottom level." I was like, "But y'all not understanding. It's not like they just copied and paste and put you on 3 different levels. Like, you're literally going into these 3 different areas. Like, in the loading, even if it's loading, it doesn't look like it's loading, and you can just traverse from each level. So, I mean, it's an amazing game for what they were able to pull off. And even if the Switch 2 has that power to like make it run flawless, that'd be even better, because now they can really start double dipping with that. And Risky, I agree with you. Like DKC Return HD did not deserve $60. I'm a DKC fan, and that did not deserve $60
Yeah.
at all. They should have done that one at 50, maybe 40, but I'll give it 50.
Yeah, that level of HD was like should have been 40, like the Metroid Prime remaster.
Yeah, I think even now thinking about it, and all these current gen games, like, you know, I had Harry Potter, but like like all these things
Yeah.
are on PC, so it ends up being $60 instead of being the $70. You know what I'm saying? So buying Harry Potter, that was
Yeah.
$60 when it was a $70
Did you
game
finish
for
that game?
PlayStation.
Yeah. Oh,
What,
okay.
Harry
Okay.
Potter? Yeah.
I remember you stopped talking about it. I was like,
Yep.
maybe he dropped it.
Nope. Finished the game. Cyberpunk, that was a $70 game,
Right.
for $60. You know what I'm saying? You know, the list goes on. Like all these games. So like some of those games to me are worth $70, and I understand. But would I pay $70 for them? No. Especially, I would say, okay. So this is my actual asterisk for it. I don't mind paying $70 for first party titles. And that comes from, realistically, I have a better chance of biting that for any of the big three. Like, if you want to charge $70 for your stuff, if Ghost of Tsushima, the new Ghost of Tsushima, say we don't have another, you know, we didn't have Ghost of Tsushima HD stupid remaster. If two and they charge $70 for it, I would buy it for $70. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it came from a first party title. They put all their work into that, knowing the metal of the system and all that stuff. That's the only reason why I would justify it for Nintendo too. Like, you know what? It's Nintendo. I know I'm going to get a quality game out of this. I will pay the $70. Can't say the same thing about third-party titles. Like, your first area was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell they put love and affection into that first area. But then when you go into the second area, you're like, dang, did all y'all leave? Was it a lunch break? Like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, now I can't justify the $70 that I just paid for this, and you got the $70 out of me. You know what I'm saying? And next week, your game is about to be $40.
That's the part right there, because with Nintendo, you kind of probably have to wait until the holidays to see a sale, because it's not going to be a permanent drop. With these third-party companies, give me 2 months. Ubisoft and Capcom going to have an 80% sale somewhere where I can get these games about $30 or $20. I'm cool. I can wait.
I think I bought the Mario Rabbids and the Donkey Kong DLC for like $15.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah. They're going to let it go.
Yeah. Ain't no way that I'm paying a whole $70 for a third party. You got to be it's got to be something else. Like on an entirely, you would have had to trick me. Like guess what? Actually, this is an exclusive. And then when I bought it, you were like, actually, it's going to all platforms. Like, oh, I got tricked. You know what I'm saying? But ain't no way.
So I'm in the mood to entertain our lovely guest, Risky, right? I got a question for you and Cisco. So we've already discussed that everything followed right behind Nintendo with this handheld hybrid situation, you know, especially on the PC side of things. Now, I've seen like the Legion Go S that they're getting ready to release supposedly this year, to where it has both Windows and it also has SteamOS. With the SteamOS version being significantly cheaper than the Windows version, which is wild, but it's what they have. Where do you see, like, if you were to say, I'm building the competitor, what are you putting in either the PC handhelds or a Sony or Microsoft handheld? Like, what are you two doing to say, all right, Nintendo has ushered this in, we need to go and compete before it gets too crazy?
Man, if I was completely honest, if we're talking about being a competitor, so this is actually, I think, why we're kind of all three of us realistically are all kind of in the same boat in the first place. It's to me, it has never actually been the console that is the problem of why these companies aren't succeeding. The problem has always been the exclusivity. And so if I'm thinking about well, first off, if I'm Sony, PlayStation, this is the PlayStation 6. Like, your portable system is the PlayStation 6. I don't care. You can lie as much as you want to about form factor, and now we figured out the form factor and took the power of the PlayStation of the future of PlayStation, because they're not going to say the power of the PlayStation 5 and put it into a handheld system. That's just not realistic, right? Hold on, just lock and turn it. I'll be there in an hour anyways. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you realistically, you can't lie to people and be like, we're gonna take a PlayStation 5 Pro and tweak it to make it the PlayStation 6 and put it in a handheld. Like, that's a lie. Like, you can't do that. Like, it's unless you're charging mad money, and I think OJ talked about this. Unless you're talking about a ridiculous amount of money that you're going to charge your fan base in order to buy that, I don't think that's ever going to happen, right? So the only other stage that you really guarantee people buying your system is through brand familiarity and having exclusives. And looking at both Microsoft and Sony has more exclusives that they push, I should say, than Microsoft does. I really think Microsoft has more exclusives than Sony does, but neither one of them keep those exclusives to their dedicated platforms, right? We know Xbox at this point, they're gonna give out their exclusives to anybody. Like, they hoeing them out at this point. Like, wherever they're going, we're making money. That's all they care about, and that's fine for them because of the way that they've set up their platform, right? But when you're talking about Sony, I think the best way to combat the Switch is with having your own exclusives, because regardless of how powerful your handheld device, more powerful and I think this is a lesson, and I don't know if Sony actually learned this lesson, but regardless of how more powerful your handheld device is, the Nintendo system, all they have to do is drop a Pokemon and you're done. You're dead. Like, all they have to do is drop another Zelda, you're dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, so and we've seen this time and time again, it's not about the hardware, more so it's about the software and how you can get it. So I think if it was me, if it was Sony, I'd be like, all right, we're going back to the drawing board. So we've got all these games that we still have patents for and stuff like that. We need to revisit these. Like, yes, I'm talking about having new games and new exclusives and stuff they never heard of. The Air over there and Spaced Out. You know what I'm saying? Like, these different weird titles that they be naming their games. But also, like, let's blow off the dust off that Sly Cooper game that we was talking about, that was supposed to come out last generation. Let's go revisit that and see how that's looking, what we can do with that. Let's talk about how we can turn the next God of War or what have you into a smaller budgeted game that we can control the paths instead of having these grandiose open worlds. Let's talk about getting this small money so that we can get this large money. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are we gonna do that? Let's talk about revisiting Killzone. You know what I'm saying? And how that looks. We need to put, we have COD, but we also need something for ourselves. Maybe that's our arena-based shooter instead of that other game. I think the talk should be more about the
Mhm.
software that they can present to make the system look attractive, not just have an
There you
attractive
go.
system,
Okay.
because that's
Okay.
where they're
What about
losing.
you, Cisco?
Yeah, I mean, if money wasn't an issue and I was creating a product to, stand its own against the Switch and all that, our Steam Deck, really, it's just if money's out the question.
Right.
You're gonna create. I think it's all about software. So we're gonna make some cool characters
Yeah.
and really promote them on social media, get
Mhm.
them trending. Get a pretty anime girl in there and get a following on that.
Right.
And
Stop with the ugly looking anime characters and people and women. We don't like that.
you gotta do something different. And I think I don't know. I'm feeling like if could be a good competitor, you got to get some anime in there.
Yeah.
Maybe you can.
Mhm.
This is so random, but like you guys just talking about this is making me think. Like, just imagine, like I haven't seen any console do this. I want to have like an AI assistant type of deal. Like have some of our characters become these AI assistants on your home console, kind of like a
Okay.
Mega Man Battle Network thing. Like
Okay.
just have
Mhm.
anime girl on your home screen being like, "You want to play this?" Blah blah blah. People will be like, "Whoa!" You get to have your little interactive like characters on your screen. We can keep adding more, and they're exclusives. And
Yeah.
and then from there, we're
Yeah.
going to be working on the games. And I'm sure the games won't do so hot, but it's when you build those little foundations. People are like, "Oh, I really like this game," and you start building that smaller following, and then now you're hitting them with the sequels, and now they're like, "Oh, wait, they're coming up with a new one."
Right.
And I think that's the best way for people to start coming back.
True. Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
the thing that, Risky aside, he's not the only one that shares the sentiment. But is the idea that is the hardware that sells these games, and it's
Mhm.
not. And when you really stop and think about it, you look at PS5 and Xbox Series. Out the gate, they were like, okay, these are gonna kill. These are the next generation consoles. They're gonna have this, and this. Their own crowd are like, where are the games at? Like they still feel like
Mhm.
they have not seen that PS5 game yet or the Xbox game yet. Now that can be a testament to them feeling like it hasn't been that big of a jump because they'll blame the Series S or even blame the fact that there are still PS4 games coming out. Like whatever your reasoning is, they feel like it hasn't done that jump. But we've said it time and time again, like you're at the law of diminishing returns with graphics. Like there's only so far you can go.
Mhm.
And now
Mhm.
you're at this point to where what you're asking for is killing the very company you keep telling that to make these games. If I'm putting 300 million plus into developing a game and I sold 5 or 10 million, and 9 times out of 10 that was probably off of sales, not the full price but like on sale if not bundled, that's a problem. Like that hurts. But we go back to, for me, I feel like the closest competitor will always be Sony, and that's because of how they started
Yeah.
off. Sony started off going the mascot route like Nintendo did. Like as much as people continue to
Mhm.
complain about Mario or Pokemon, whatever, they have stayed the test of time and continue to remain popular. And it's a face that you'll always see. You're gonna always see Pikachu at the Macy Day Parade. You're gonna always see
Mhm.
a Goku at the Macy Day Parade. Like these faces and names carry weight. So no matter how bad
Yep.
Pokemon runs, people are going to run to Pokemon. If it's not the game, it's the
Yep.
cards. If it's not the cards, it's the anime. If it's not the anime, it's the merch. Like they have it covered. Same thing with Mario. They continue to evolve Mario over time. No matter how many times you see his name on a cart, a golf, or whatever, the main line is what people are looking for, along with the 2D game. That's what people really look for and count on. So if I'm Sony, yes, I'm going back and I'm trying to find different developers that don't mind working on these IPs we used to have, because Naughty Dog wanted to move on to something else. Sucker Punch wanted to move on to something else. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? You want
Mhm.
to evolve over time as a developer, but get other companies to keep these other IPs alive so that way you can have that conversation of, man, Crash has been around as long and has been successful because we found ways to refresh him, opposed to getting this big resurgence with the trilogy and somewhat with 4, and then he dies out again. So it didn't really hold up at all. And for PC, that's a hard thing to do because I mean, I can't really call off the top of my head I guess you could say, a mascot for PC. Like, what is that exclusive game that people are like,
Mm,
this is why I come to PC? They go to PC for graphics and they kind of show off frame rates,
yeah.
but, but other than that, like,
It used to be for a time, like back in our day, games like not Warcraft.
yeah,
Well,
World of Warcraft, yeah.
Warcraft, Warhammer,
Dungeons and
Sin,
Dragons and stuff like
like
that. Yeah.
those, yeah, like those type of things, Diablo, those type of things were all like synonymous with PC
Mhm.
gaming, right? But like now, the mass majority of those games are like console games, so it's not like it's not like you can really just be like PC is
Correct.
definitively
Yeah.
this, right? So
Risky. No, that's
yeah.
not what I said. What, man, even then, that's not even correct because Nintendo creates a new IP every generation. With the
Mhm.
Wii U, what generation did we,
Every
what IP did we get? We got Splatoon.
Mhm.
One of their now bigger franchises.
Mhm.
With this one, we got
Yep.
ARMS came in. We Ring Fit Adventure came in. What else did we
Mhm.
get this?
And Ring
this
Fit
year?
Adventure is one of the best selling games of all time.
Yes, Astral Chain came in. What else?
Yep.
There were some little like smaller games that they did that came in as well.
Mhm. We got the Peach game. Oh well, that was a
Right.
new IP,
But
but
I mean, nonetheless, even
um,
with those new IPs, there also were refreshers for their older titles. So I mean, this idea that they don't create new IPs is stupid because people choose to only pay attention to Pokemon, Mario, and Zelda. Like that's y'all's doing. But
right.
yeah, so I mean, all in all, yeah, Solitaire and Minesweep, yeah, those are those are classics. Don't get me wrong, those are classics. But but all in all, I mean, I think that's where their issue always lies in. While Microsoft had Halo, Gears, and Forza, you can't really put a face to Forza, but
Mhm.
you have Mark Phoenix for Gears, and then you have Master Chief for Halo. But then the games got to
Mhm.
speak for those mascots too. And unfortunately, it's been very
Yeah.
quiet. So very
Very,
quiet.
very quiet from both
Yeah. So I mean,
fronts.
if anybody's gonna do it, I'll agree. Like Sony has the ability. I just don't know what they're doing right now. I really don't.
Oh, Game
Yeah.
Builder Garage.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Forgot about that one
I
too.
forgot that was one too. And the
Labo.
cardboard box that they made you buy.
Oh, Labo. Yeah, Labo.
Y'all bought.
And then they localized the Famicom Detective Club games.
Yep.
I think those are Japanese exclusive.
Oh yeah, yep.
So I mean, Nintendo
Yeah.
has the ability, and we talked about this last Sunday. Nintendo has the ability to really take like a whole, like some franchises, and have their entire catalog on one device. They have the ability to do that
Mhm.
because there are developers that are doing a lot of remakes and remasters because either they're gearing up for the next big project or they just don't have nothing to release. So it's like, so they have the ability to do that. But then even with Game Builder Garage, if there is a 2, once again, we go back to the mouse function. If that is a thing, you're now opening up so many doors using that mouse function. Mario Makers, Mario Paint is what I keep hearing people mention. We've always talked about The Sims, Splatoon 2, COD when it comes over. Whatever else they decide to do to have like that one crazy IP to show off the functionality. Like that'd be dope.
Mhm. And don't be surprised if they're petty on you too. Like, oh, you want to emulate games? Well, here's Zelda. Here's your keyboard, or here's your mouse right here, just waiting for
And
you.
then, yes, sir,
Here it
that's what
is.
we talked about too. Like, I didn't know, and this is just me being ignorant, but I had no idea that those that played Sims were not playing on the best of specs. Like, the only person I knew was my aunt, and she don't care. Like, as long as that computer turns on, she's playing Sims. It can be frame by
They be like,
frame. She's gonna walk away, get something to drink, get something to eat, come back, select another action, walk away and go. Like she doesn't care. She loves Sims. And then I saw this
Mhm.
YouTube video of this guy like showing Sims players like this is what it's supposed to run like. And he's like, oh my gosh, that was so fast. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, that looks so amazing. Like they don't care. They just want to play it. So it's very interesting. And even with them, I'm not even gonna say they're gonna get competition. They have someone stepping into the ring with this new sim-like game that's being made that every time they show it, it looks like it's running pretty bad. But I forget, it's like Enzo or
Watch
something
out
like
now.
that. But yeah, I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know if I'll be showing that off with it hiccuping like that, but it's something that looks crazy realistic. It's a little too real for me. But nonetheless, I mean, it's a
Mhm.
wide open space. You know, we think about Animal Crossing, we think about Metopia, we think about all these things that are like those life sims, and it's wide
Mhm.
open. EA, Jesus, like just do it. Like I don't get it. This is wide open.
Yeah. So let me see. See anybody have any more? What are they talking
Yeah,
about?
there you go.
Enjoy, yeah. Since could be played on anything
About
that
up into it.
has
That's true.
power and function.
It's
Yeah.
like Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a state. Anything if it can turn on, it's playing it at this point.
Mhm. I was trying to see if there was anything else that we secretly got off this Switch. I don't think
Yeah,
so. I think that's pretty
yeah.
much it. Do you guys like the no bezel thing for the Switch itself? The bezels are really
It
thin
is,
on
and even
this.
for like the ones that are on there, I think you have to understand you got to have some type of bezel on these devices, like because if you get it too
Something.
close,
Yeah.
you're asking for that screen to be a problem when it
Hmm.
drops because you're gonna drop it.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be a problem. You got to have
Yeah.
that bezel there for a reason. And I'm pretty sure there's like some inner workings as into why it's not as thin as possible, but even your cell phones have to give you some type of bezel.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. I know more of this conversation is going to happen because we didn't
Right.
have Vito on today. So um, that's if he gets his computer, everything straightened out
Okay.
with his computer. Uh, but other than that, I think that's
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's
we
pretty
stretched it
much
out
it,
for
man.
something that was 2 minutes. Like we
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They gave us 2 minutes, and we gave them 2 hours. So yeah, outside of that, any final thoughts from you guys?
No, really. I mean, I'm just excited to hear what third parties say between these 2.5 months. I mean, this
Mhm.
is kind of their time because I'm pretty sure in that presentation, first party,
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Get in or
you
get
better,
out.
hey, you better get in all your words now. Get your fans hyped because the moment we get on the stage, we may give some of y'all some
Hmm.
some light to shine, but it's gonna be a first party up in here.
Right. Just just know you're gonna be in the sizzle reel. So hurry up and
For sure.
get
For
your
sure, but
stuff
I'm but
out.
I'm also looking forward to seeing what the Pro Controller, like if there's any differences, because I know there was rumors about the Pro Controller itself looking very similar, but having having two buttons on the back, to kind of replicate
Hmm.
what PowerA's been doing for a while now, and what all these other controllers are doing.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah.
they're adding those two extra buttons behind it. So I'm curious to see, you know, that being added and see if they got some more battery out of it because Nintendo's still king of controller batteries.
Oh yeah.
So I need
Hmm.
another 40, 80 hours out of my controller, so we're good.
Man, killing the game in the hours.
Yeah. I right now, like I'm still very much playing my Switch a lot. I'm excited about a Switch too, but I'm not like I feel like the internet's really like we need it now, and I'm kind of like,
Yeah, you
you
really
know, if
don't.
they released it in 2026, I wouldn't complain.
Mm-mm.
Like I'm really content with the Switch, but just higher, upgrades, specs, and all that would be really nice. So my games won't
Hmm.
lag. I think a
Hmm.
good example is Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I love that game so
Yeah,
much. I finished it like a week or two ago, and went for the 100% and everything. I love that game, and but it didn't run smooth all the time. Sometimes the frames would drop, and I'm like, oh, I hope Switch 2 can like lock these frames in for a game like this. That'd be nice.
right.
Um, I think though what I would like to see. You mentioned the Pro Controller. One thing I would want to see is colored Joy Cons. I don't want my Switch being all gray. Like I really like the colored ones.
Yeah,
So I'm hoping that they reveal like a colored Switch 2. That would be kind of nice. Um,
yeah. And that frame is so small. Like it's hard unless they do like the old with the other switches and get those, the sweet, oh man, that Pokemon, that Violet, Scarlet and Violet background with the
yeah, yeah.
graffiti on it. But like on the front end, you really changing those colors of the actual screen itself is probably
Right.
pretty hard. So yeah,
Yeah, I think that's about it. I'll have
Yeah,
for
so-
Switch.
Okay, so for me, final thoughts. I was just looking over this one last time. I just noticed that the dock is not the whole
Yeah.
the whole front panel. Like it slides in, and there's still like that much left of screen for it, which is you know a kind of an interesting touch. It looks like it's sitting
really
in the middle
does.
of a toaster. to be honest.
So do you think they'll display something up top or have something there for it?
Yeah. Like it'd be so funny if you had to take it, like in order to take it out, you had to push that little C button. It was like, ding, you know, it popped up, ding. Oh, but yeah, no, man, I'm just excited to see, you know, what first party titles they come with. Obviously, we've seen Mario Kart. I have a feeling that's going to be a day one game. If it's not, it's the holiday title, but that's kind of weird for showing
Right.
it off
Yep.
this early. But yeah, I'm excited to see what games we get and some of the mystery still
Yep.
behind the system, man. I feel like there's just like one thing that like nobody rumored or showed off that's there for the system, and we're gonna be like, okay, like nobody threw that out. Like that's different. That's way different than what we thought. So I'm excited to see the possibles of that, but really just to kind of get the system in hand. The Joy-Cons look, to me, they look actually really comfortable. The rounded body is not as flat as the old Joy-Cons. It almost kind of reminds me of kind of the sides of the Game Gear, if you would. Just that nice rounded, you know, kind of coping into your hands type of feel. But yeah, I don't care about resolutions and all that other stuff. While I would like to know, just for purposes of like what I'm dealing with, if they were like, this is another 1080p system, blah 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 blah, I could care less. Like it is what it is. But just really just kind of just getting to know more about the system, what the dock can or can't do, and the games, especially like the games
Of
is
course,
number
yeah.
one for me, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So what is Geronimo?
Yeah.
I'm genuinely interested in trying to use the new Joy-Cons and the new dog grip. Yeah, me too. And I'm kind of wondering, well, so now we know for a fact, I think T said this before, is that like with the, I can't remember what it was, what system he had, but like you could take the two outside pieces and like attach them together. We know for a fact that this isn't doing that. just the way that centerpiece is, and they both have innies. I ain't even about to say it.
I mean, you say
We're gonna move on
Annie's.
from that. But
It's not what I expected at all.
but it's not happening. Let's just put it that way. It's not you're not going to be able to attach both of those together to make a single controller. You're still going to need the dog bone, the dog grip in order to make that happen. So, but I am like Geronimo said, I'm kind of curious if they change like even maybe the angle or the distance of how close those are to each other, because I feel like even with the dog grips, you were still like this, you know. Joycey said, I just want to peek at a new Zelda. But I say that all the time. I feel you. You know, to be honest with you, as many times as we've heard Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask remake, I wouldn't mind it this time around. Like if they gave us a remake of either one of those games, I would be hyped. Like that would be dope. Especially if they could find a way to keep it from having well, there wasn't loading screens for those games, but you know, there was what do they call those? Like transitional
to where it doesn't
areas.
look like it's loading, but it is.
Yeah. I think that would be dope if you could just make that all just one. And given that Tears of the Kingdom can do it, in a way, it should be no
We'll
problem.
see, man.
Kotatsu, what's up, bro? Appreciate you coming through. You kind of late though. What's up? I appreciate you, though. I appreciate you. We're gonna talk more about this come Saturday at 7:00. So if you want to come through that, or please come through, we would definitely love to have you, because this obviously this discussion ain't even like halfway done. But you know, for the time that we have to cut it short. Andre said, I want to fully remake Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass. Yeah, give me a 3D version of both of those games, especially Spirit Tracks, because I feel like that game is super, super underrated. And I think it came at an unfortunate time, because I think Nintendo thought that we just wanted all Wind Waker style games at that point. That was not the case. That was not quite the case. So thank you guys so much for coming through. Before we get out of here, Cisco, you go ahead. Yeah, give
hey guys, I'm Nintendo Cisco. I'm on YouTube. I run a gaming channel. Been kind of on hiatus lately, but of course I'm with the Switch 2 nudes. I'm getting back in. I got a couple of videos I want to make, and yeah, just that's what I've been doing. Excited for Switch 2. I want to get more involved. Don't know if I'm going to be doing that thing where they're, what's it called? Nintendo Experience?
Oh yeah.
I might. I mean, maybe that's a little fun.
Dude, this is so messed up, because it's in your place. It's in New York. I can't do it. So,
wait, me? I'm Chicago.
Yeah,
in Chicago.
You're in Chicago too. Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is weird, because they always have it here. I'm surprised.
That's what I said. And
I didn't skip a beat. I was like, oh, it's gonna be in Chicago. Cool. Yeah, I'll go check it out. And I checked. And I'm like, not Chicago. What happened here?
Nope.
That's weird.
They keeping it limited.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I won't warn though anybody who wants to go travel to that, because I remember when they did that with the Switch here in Chicago. Like it's instantly you're out. Like they didn't only let a certain amount of people in. I remember I went all the way to downtown and go to that, and
you didn't make it.
No, it was like 4 people in front of me, and they cut it off, and I was like,
right now, at least with this one, it seems like they took that into account. So right now, only Nintendo account holders can register, and then they'll be given to the public.
Okay,
that's good. That's good.
Better.
I like that. Yeah, I remember I made it to that one. That's crazy.
They gonna make you have a Nintendo account, like
yeah, at the door. Don't play with me. Show me your phone, please.
Right, let me see that account. Get out of here.
But I'm very patient. I might just not do any of that altogether, and just when it comes out, and that's when I'll try it out.
Yeah. I'm sure there will be plenty of people, you know, whether it's OJ or anybody else, who actually goes to the thing and shows off the system and all that stuff. So Jack, how about you, man?
Man, being on the same train now that we have the reveal, we're gonna definitely see more games. So as you know, like for those of you that watch my channel, I don't like make videos on everything. I only make videos on things that interest me. So really is this interests me. So I'm pretty sure, you know, anything that comes up is gonna be very worth talking about. But all in all, starting next month in February, like I said, I'm gonna do my first live. So it's gonna be like a pilot show, if you will, just to kind of get a feel for live for the first time, and then from there I'll start actually executing the style I want to do, which will be more or less of like I would say more like an interview style, but more or less of just like, hey, bring somebody on, get to know them, and then we'll go over the news together or go over what happened throughout the week together, kind of thing. And then also too, that will also be the week following, I'll start the news segment as well too. So kind of like really going over like the entirety of the week on Thursday, and then just kind of talking about what may be introduced for the following week. But like I mentioned before, I'm trying to do in a different style, to where, you know, doing the whole costume setup, having the character set up. So I try to make it fun, opposed to you just listening to what you probably read on Twitter anyway. So just really make it like an eventful thing, and then also invite people on there too, like as like other newscasters that come on to kind of join me or whatever. But I think it'll be pretty fun going into the new year of really reviving the channel, going from trying to figure out what I wanted to do with it, because I, like everybody else, started off with possibly doing playthroughs and skits and talking about everything that popped up as far as gaming was concerned, and I kind of stepped back and I was like, this isn't what I wanted to do. So now I'm finally finding what I think will be fun for me, but then also entertaining to everybody else. So that will kick off next month.
Okay. And as far as here, like I said, come back at 7:00 on Saturday, Eastern Standard Time. We will be talking more Switch 2. And I want to thank you, everybody who came through. I want to thank Cisco for coming through. My man shows up, and I appreciate it. Jack, same Dilly. Jack has been like co-hosting like low key for a while now, and I really appreciate it.
No problem,
While we have Vito out for the moment. So thank you to Andre, to our moderators. There's a whole bunch of y'all in the chat. Like we've hit a high number. So thank you, Risky, for all your hate. Appreciate it. Square Void and everybody else who's come through. Poison, Daphne, we thank you for coming back. 8Ball. Yeah. So thank you guys so much. And we will see you guys on Saturday, unless somebody has anything sooner. I don't think so. Saturday. Yeah. See you guys on Saturday.